Welcome everyone to That's a Mess this week with a very special guest, MetroidCrime. Welcome.
It's me, MetroidCrime. Hello.
Thank you so much for accepting the invitation, for being here in a very
No
special
problem.
day.
No problem.
And for
Happy
people
birthday
that
again.
thank you so much. I was telling everyone, Crime is the birthday queen of Twitch. So it's an honor to have you here. And for people that don't know you, can you please talk a little about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm MetroidCrime. I'm a variety streamer. I stream on Twitch. Play all sorts of different games. I also do speed running. I speed run Sonic the Hedgehog, and yeah, that's me.
Nice. Yeah, I tell everyone like really follow Crime because it's really great content. Like I just love being a part of the community. Like your community is really nice, and I think it's something you nourish, right? Like it takes time to grow a community
Oh yeah, 100%.
like that. Yeah.
Community building, I feel also is like super important for me. I want to make sure that like everyone feels welcome. And I always try to make sure that that is the case.
Yeah.
Because your community is really a reflection of kind of like yourself.
Oh,
And
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
if you have people who are like kind of bring down the community, it can get, it's like a kind of a bad reflection of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So like I always try to make sure that like, and I mean people who come in and like don't understand like the rules or whatever, like, I mean, yeah. Um,
Awesome.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Just like getting right into it with like a kind of a side question, but I love it.
Yeah.
So to start off today, I think we're gonna start with some like gaming questions. So
Okay.
the first one that I always ask is, how did you get into gaming? I'd love to know that.
Started when I was very, very young. My dad had an NES. So I always loved playing, well, specifically I played some Mario Brothers. I played a lot of Duck Hunt with the light gun. And I also really enjoyed loading up Castlevania and playing like through half of the first level and then dying. Castlevania is a very hard game for NES. I'm surprised I was even able to get as far as I did when I was younger. But that's, yeah, kind of through my dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when you were growing up, did you have like a favorite game?
Um, that would kind of be, I don't know. It would be probably. I ended up getting a Genesis later on, and I did
Oh,
play a lot of Sonic 2. Um, Sonic 2. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat as well. Mortal Kombat 2 is probably my favorite one as well. Um, but yeah, growing up, mostly I played a lot of the Sonic games.
nice. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that you had basically history with Sonic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, I mean, basically, like the games that we owned for Genesis were all like either sports games or Sonic games, and that's pretty much it.
That's basically Sega, right? Like
Yeah,
you only had like a few options if you had like a Sega console back then.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I should also mention the Sega Activator that I owned that I like to play Eternal
Whoa.
Champions on. So if you don't know what a Sega Activator is, it was this device that plugged into the controller, the second player controller slot,
Hmm.
and it was basically like a ring that you stand in, and it had IR sensors. It's very
Whoa.
futuristic sounding for
Yeah,
something
when
that
you're
is
saying,
like,
I'm like, wait.
yeah. I don't own this anymore. I lost it a long time ago, but it
I've
was, yeah,
never
basically like
seen it.
interconnecting rings, and it's like, I want to say it's an octagon almost, and the way it works is that it has IR sensors on it. And it can tell whether you're using like a punch or a kick because it has like,
Oh,
it's basically like from the ground to like waist
the
level, it's
barrier
one.
goes up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can
right.
tell how far away the object is from
Hmm. The IR
like the
sensor.
device or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And that was a lot
Whoa.
of fun to go and punch and kick stuff in Eternal Champions.
So I guess it ties in. Yeah, I was gonna ask if you like consider yourself like a Nintendo kid, a Sega kid. So you're basically like a Sega kid, grew up playing Sega games.
Oh yeah, 100%. I had basically, it went from NES to Genesis to probably Game Boy Color and then N64. I completely skipped SNES stuff growing up, and I
Hmm.
didn't get to play it until I was like, I want to say like 16, 17, when I got to play like Metroid and Earthbound and
Hmm.
some of the other games from the SNES era. Yeah.
That's awesome because I do have a friend that every time that I say like an outrageous gaming opinion, he's like, "Oh, you're just saying that because you grew up playing Sonic." And like, it's so good to have another person that actually also grew up playing Sonic.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
uh, what's your now? This I think it's a pretty difficult question, but did your taste change growing up? And what I mean by that is like, what's your favorite game now? Is it a game from that era, or like, did it change?
So this is a really tough question. I I kind of brainstormed what I think my favorite game is, and I came up with like 8 different answers. So I'm gonna try to narrow it down to one, and I'm going to say that Doki Doki Literature Club is probably my favorite game.
Oh, you can say
Um,
the honorable mentions too, but I'm surprised by that. I've never
um,
played it.
I I love that game. It's actually getting a re-release. I think it does some really creative things. Don't look it up beforehand. Just play it
That's
without
all I
knowing
know.
anything
Yeah.
about it. You definitely don't want to know anything about it going in, because then you're not gonna get the same you're
Hmm.
not gonna have the same reaction to it.
If I know I know there's a twist. Is that enough to ruin it or no? I don't know what the
No,
twist
it's not
is.
enough
I
to
just
ruin
know
it.
that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, just don't look up anything else. I also knew that there was a twist going in, but it's nothing could
It's
have
still.
prepared me for what
Yeah.
happened.
I love that.
Honestly, it's a really well-written game. Like it's made by one person, Dan Salvato. Um and it was I actually like, if you enjoy that game and if you've played it before, he actually did like a let's play on Twitch a while back. I think it might be on YouTube as well. Where he kind of like talked about his decisions in making the game and everything. And it's super informative from like the
Wow.
developer, like to listen to that type of thing from the developer. Yeah.
Hmm. And any honorable mentions then beside Doki
Oh
Doki
yeah,
Literature
okay.
Club, since it
So
was a difficult decision?
I have a lot on here. So I had Doki Doki Literature Club. I have Axiom Verge on there. I really like Axiom Verge.
Ooh.
I think that game is
Better than the
awesome.
second one, you think? Maybe
The second one
too
is
early
very
to tell?
different. I loved both of them, but for different reasons.
Hmm.
I also really enjoy Bloodborne. I thought Bloodborne is a really good game.
Definitely, yeah, definitely on my
It's
top five for sure. Yeah.
it's like my favorite Souls game. Another one that I really enjoy is Cuphead. I
Ooh.
really like the challenge of Cuphead, and I really like the animation. The music is amazing. I frequently listen to the Cuphead soundtrack. Um,
That's a game
yeah.
that I like. I know, like I've seen it and I know it's like amazing, but I suck at like 2D platformers, I just like avoid it because I know it's really difficult, but it is really good, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
kind of
worth.
like it's kind of like a Souls game where you're like bashing your head against the same enemy over and over and over, and then once you finally get it, it's like wow, and it just like clicks.
I see.
It's the same type of thing, yeah.
Maybe I should try it, like give it a chance. Maybe if I like, even if I'm not good, maybe I should just like
Yeah, definitely.
go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. And I like with that list of game, it was difficult to like kind of pinpoint maybe a genre that you're like inclined to play the most. Do you have like a favorite genre of games or not really?
Um, like I want to say like I like platforming games, I guess. I'm not really sure. I don't know because I feel like like is Sonic the Hedgehog considered a platforming game? I guess, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But like I don't like all like I've played some platformers that I definitely don't like.
Hmm.
But basically I think it's mostly like heavy story driven games. Like good stories. Like for example, I saw Indie Villain mention Bug Snacks as well, which was also like an excellent game. I'm also really enjoying like Psychonauts 2.
Oh.
Um, I like games with stories that pull you in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bugsnax I definitely want to try as well.
Yeah,
I love that.
it's
I love
great.
all these games that you're mentioning because I'm like, I never played this. I'm like, play this, play this.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you tend to play these like platformers on stream? Like, are you more inclined to end up like just playing more platformers because that's what you kind of maybe like the most?
Yeah, I have yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I play such a wide variety of games on stream. Um it's hard deciding kind of what to play on stream.
Yeah, that's a difficult. I think maybe we'll get into it later
Yeah,
on, but
yeah.
yeah, it is actually really difficult.
Yes.
And Last week here on the show, we had a small discussion about how games are being turned into like making a return to the big screen, like games like becoming series and movies.
Yeah.
And as you know, your favorite Sonic the Hedgehog. I actually
Yo,
mentioned
I
it.
love the Sonic movie. I thought the Sonic movie was great.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's what
aside
I
product
mentioned.
placement aside, like screw
Hmm.
that, but I understand why they had to do that because like they had to basically get the animators to reanimate Sonic after they released
Yeah,
that horrible abomination.
it was an abomination. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Um
audience score on it, it was like I mentioned it last week, it was like 93, 94. You're like, it is a liked movie. Like, uh,
yeah.
people like it. So
Yeah,
do you
there were
like this trend? Yeah, of seeing these
I mean,
movies.
I don't know if I like this trend. um I there's like one video game movie that I really enjoyed and it was the Ace Attorney movie that came out. There's an Ace Attorney movie out that covers the first game roughly, and I thought that was great. As for games that I would like to see in movie as a movie or a TV series, um, I always I like the idea of having a Metroid movie, but like in order to pull it off, I feel like it
Ooh.
needs to be like really artsy and like quiet and like
Hmm.
because the second you introduce like other characters or like Samus does a bunch of talking, it's kind of like it kind of ruins
Yeah.
like, it kinda makes it not a Metroid movie at that point, right?
When you said it, like introduce other characters, I was like, oh, and then the chatty begins, and then it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, like, if they did something super, like, artsy and, kinda creepy, like Samus is alone exploring something or, like, going bounty
Hmm.
hunting, etcetera, I think that could be really awesome, but I don't trust anyone
Yeah.
to pull that off.
And when it comes to that, like I also think it's like I don't think anyone could get that. But it's like
Yeah.
I think it comes down to just being like, okay, let's not do it then. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like just
yeah,
leave it then because if you do something, it might end up being like really bad.
yeah. The other thing that I wouldn't mind seeing, like I was gonna say, like, Mass Effect as well, like, something in the Mass Effect
It could
universe,
work, yeah.
but that's basically The Expanse. So,
Oh, is it? I never watched
yeah, if
it.
The Expanse is very good. It gives me heavy Mass Effect vibes.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, there's no really. You think like, okay, there's not really a point into making Mass Effect if like these other shows kind of like just
It kind
draw the
of like I
like
mean,
get close to it.
I'm a little bit hesitant about Mass Effect because like they came out with Mass Effect Andromeda, which was set in the same universe but bad.
Hmm. Yeah, but not
um,
good.
yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda is not great.
I love all the
Um,
memes. The memes that came out of it are
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah. But yeah,
But yeah,
I do not suggest Mass Effect Andromeda.
I see. But like the thing that I was thinking too is like these story heavy games, like Mass Effect, for example, if they
Mhm.
were to release a show, it would have to be a completely new story, right? That's the difficult thing
Yeah, I
too,
think
because
so.
it's the same thing with the Last of Us series they're making. It's like, are you just gonna remake the game story? It's like it's a little weird, you know, because like if you're just telling the game story on the show, it's like I don't see a reason because the game itself, it's all like almost like a movie. Some people even criticize
Yes.
it for being like a movie, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that's a problem. Do you agree? Like that's
I do, especially like if I'm bringing up the example of Mass Effect again, like that story is so personalized to you and your decisions. Having a show that would be based on the exact same story would kind of I feel like it would kind of mess with your memory of it a little bit. Like it would be
yeah.
I don't know, because everyone
That's
has
not
their
how it happened.
own
Yeah.
ways to kind of interpret those types of games where there's decisions like that.
Oh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't think of that. You're so right because like that game you can make decisions. So like if the show like you will not be able to make decisions. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
like this thing where
Yeah.
people are gonna be
It'll
like, no.
ruin your headcanon, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say I'm out. Mass Effect, they
yeah.
can't do it. That's not gonna work. Do
Yeah.
an Andromeda series, a spin-off,
Yeah.
whatever. That on the top of your head now, since we're like talking about games, on the top of your head, is that a game that you like to recommend everyone to play?
Um, okay. I was trying to think of a game that like maybe people might not have heard of. I
We had
recently
some really,
played
yeah, great ones.
an airport for aliens currently run by dogs. Um,
Oh,
that is the name of the game. They refer to it as the dog airport game if we don't want to say the entire name of it. But that game, I went into it because I thought, wow, that name is hilarious. This looks hilarious, and ended up with a story that made me cry.
really?
Yeah. It is like it is so wild. It is not what you're expecting. I also
It's
that's
not
another
just
game I
cute
recommend,
dogs.
like, yeah. Oh, there's a lot of dogs in it. There's a ton of dogs in there, and it is an airport run by dogs. Several airports actually run by dogs. Um, and yeah, if you haven't heard of it, it's a very indie game. I would recommend checking that out.
Ooh, yeah, I love that recommendation. Everyone,
Yeah.
play it. I watched you play it, so I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't get any spoiler from it. Like I watched it. I remember
Yeah.
watching it, but it was just like I saw the picture of the dogs and I didn't know what was going on, and like that was the dialogue. So I guess there's like a really like a story behind it. I'm
Oh
intrigued
yeah.
now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I suppose it's not supposed to be like a huge game, right? It's like a few hours long.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
just a few
remember?
hours. I think I ended up playing like 2 streams of it, which would have been like 8 hours maybe.
Oh, I see.
Ish.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, was it even that long? I think I spent a lot of time like doing dumb shit in that game.
Oh, I mean,
And making sure I
you
pet all the
gotta.
dogs, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, if I'm playing that game, I'm gonna pet all the dogs.
Every single dog.
Yep, gonna make a
There's an
list just
achievement.
like, oh, pet this one. Oh, there is. Okay, that makes it easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now I would like us to move to a little bit of streaming talk,
Okay.
which I
Sure.
think, yeah, a lot of people could be interested in as well. So, for how long have you been streaming?
So I've been streaming since June 2018. Um, that's not counting the Twitch streams I did in 2012,
Oh.
but I didn't. Okay, so how let's see how much I want to go back and I think this might be a topic we're covering later. But yeah, I first launched my Twitch account under a different username,
I see.
and the only thing it did was it was a bot that plays Risk nonstop.
Oh, we are gonna talk
Um,
about that.
yeah, yeah. So that's actually what I started my Twitch channel off with, and of course didn't save like any broadcast, so I have nothing from back then.
Hmm.
But that's basically it was just an automatic thing. I didn't really understand Twitch at the time either.
Oh,
So like I was just like,
Twitch
oh yeah,
was
this is a cool
really
place to
it
kind
was
of,
new too, right? In 2012.
yeah, newish. I think
Yeah,
it had just changed over from Justin TV to Twitch at that
I
point.
see. Yeah.
Um so yeah, that's the first thing I set up. But yeah, no, since June 2018 is roughly when I fully like actually started streaming.
So,
Yeah.
how did you decide to start streaming? I guess you can basically,
Um
yeah, maybe talk about the risk
yeah.
thing, like risk, and then this other part too.
So I kind of okay, so the reason I decided to start streaming was because I saw some of my friends were also doing it, and I was like, wow, this is not as complicated or difficult as I thought it would be. And I was like, I can do better. Which is a
I will
terrible
do
idea. Don't ever
better.
think that. Don't ever think that. um but that is basically what happened. And then I was kind of like I was pretty nervous at first because I was like, am I entertaining enough? Like, do people actually want to
Hmm.
watch me? And so like I was talking to Great Newtons about it, and he's like, yeah, I think you're entertaining enough, like when you're playing like Splatoon, you have good reactions to things. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, I might as well try it. And so I grabbed the shittiest webcam and set up a yeah, I set up a Twitch stream, and I started streaming. And then like the first time I ended up playing some indie rhythm game called Just Shapes and Beats, and I ended up getting like a viewer who like hung out the entire time and watched with me, and
Whoa.
it was awesome. It was really cool. Um
And
yeah,
then
that's
you just grew to like it as like, was it like a discovering experience? Like, cause you were just doing,
um
oh, I can do it better. Like, but then you started to liking it more.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, my friends who were doing it, like, weren't exactly like they were just kind of streaming for like our friend group or whatever. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
exactly like uh
Like a serious thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
then none of them were really serious about it. So like when I started, I kind of like originally well, okay, so I'm very introverted. I don't know if I'd still consider myself an introvert, but when I first started streaming, I was extremely
Mm-hmm.
introverted.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to use it as a way to be able to be more comfortable with public speaking
Mm-hmm.
as well, which I totally achieved. I used to not be able to like listen to the sound of my own voice without like cringing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, now I do that all the time. I listen to myself all the time and I laugh at myself when I'm editing my clips. I think I'm funny.
You are
So,
funny.
yeah, no, yeah, that's kind of it. It was more of like I started it and then I realized how good it was. It was helping me kind of like branch out and be able to talk
Yeah.
more freely. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like a thing that you decided to do, but then it just like started helping you as a person as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I kind of like I met a whole bunch of cool people. I kind of like built this community up. Started obviously with just like my friends watching, but like eventually, yeah, some other people started coming by. I started getting raids, and I'm like, me, I didn't really know Twitch like at all. I didn't know anything about Twitch going into it. Like I just kind of like didn't know anyone who really like actually streamed as a streamer.
Yeah.
So like I was kind of like stumbling around because I wasn't putting a ton of effort into it and like just kind of like things would happen as they happened and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty fun. And how is it going today? It's
It's
going pretty
going
nice, right?
yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm now streaming I'm streaming full time. Um and that's because of the pandemic basically. Like if the pandemic didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen then I probably wouldn't have ended up switching over to streaming full
Switching.
time. At this point at least anyway because I'm still a pretty small streamer like in the grand scheme of things, right? Like
Yes
um
and no, because to me you're like the biggest. I'm like, crime is the biggest. you know?
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, no, I'm still like generally a pretty small streamer and it's risky doing that, but I also like I have a part-time job in addition to the full-time streaming, which is a lot,
hmm
but I make it work. I like keeping busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm really glad it's going up really well. We love to see it, like your channel still growing, like the community is
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
And I
totally.
and
Yeah.
I bet it's pretty nice to look back and just like see those like 2 years and like look at what I've accomplished and I would still have to accomplish, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Here's a cool question. How and I'm curious about this. How did you come up with the name Metroid Crime?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I think it is Great Newtons who was the one who came up with it originally. But we were so back in the day I used to play a lot of Payday 2 with my friend
Who
group
love Payday
and
2, yeah.
I played a lot of that game. I love that game. And so like me and my friends would constantly change our Steam names. Um So like basically like every time we would play, we would change our Steam names to something else and I would change mine to something always related with crime in the name. So like I don't know. I had like I was looking through my Steam usernames yesterday to try to figure out when exactly that happened, but
Oh,
like I
so it
was
was
calling
just like
myself
random on Steam?
yeah, it was like so I called myself like Crime Doer, Crime Company, Snoop Crime, like off of Snoop Lion, Snoop Dogg thing. And then I think at one point Great Noons was like, "How about Metroid Crime?" And I'm like, "That is perfect." And then it stuck.
Yeah.
I
And
never got
it's
rid of it.
really good.
I love it so much.
That's a really good story. I love
Yeah.
like because there's a little bit of random to it, right? Like it just happened like this. And then it's
Yeah.
actually this cool name uh that's super fun. Do
Yeah.
you here's something that I just thought. Are you like afraid that Nintendo's gonna come for you at some point?
Yes, so I'm very careful about that. I know that I'm pretty sure that as long as I'm not selling like merchandise with the name Metroid on it, then I'm
hmm
mostly okay. But I do have backup plans. Like I prefer that people call me Crime rather than Metroid for that reason.
Yeah.
Especially because if for any reason I wanted to change my name, I could just change it to M Crime because my name starts with M.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm not like if it happens one day, it happens and I change and I rebrand, but until that happens, I think I'm okay as long as I'm not making money off of selling something with their likeness
I
on it.
agree. Yeah.
Like I could never do like I know that they go after people for Pokemon stuff, but they like their logos include the Pokemon's like image in it, right? Like it's stuff like that.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nintendo, it's just because you never know with Nintendo. They're so protective of
Oh, they
their
are, they
IPs and
are.
stuff. It's
They're
like, yeah.
yeah, which is a huge contrast to like Sega, who like encourages people make fan games, like
Oh
Sonic fan
yeah.
games and stuff. Like, yeah, Sega's so great.
Yeah, look at the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account. You know, that thing
Yeah,
is like a
yeah,
gem. I
yeah, it
love
is.
it.
Yeah.
And in your channel, I don't know if, I mean, probably a lot of people that are here on the channel, I hope they're familiar with it because I tell them to follow you all the time. But if they're not
I
familiar with
appreciate it.
it, you do have the subscribe badge, which is like a battery. And is there like a
Yes.
story behind the battery? Like,
Yes, yes, there totally is. I am notoriously famous for not charging my electronics. Um, and so when my battery fails, it's a Metroid crime. So like
oh,
yeah, so I've had a
I
lot of
love that.
it was a lot more prevalent like back when I started streaming, like literally almost every stream I would like have to stop because like, oh, my battery's dead. Guess I gotta go plug that in.
Hmm.
So it kind of started like that, and then when I got affiliate, I was like, I don't know what to do for my sub badges. I have no idea. I don't really have any like memes that I can think of,
Yeah.
and I ended up doing this because I think it was like the most recognizable meme that's unique to my
And
channel.
it's fun because I always love the like when you first sub, because like if you're just thinking like, I was gonna say normally, but not like, just stick with me with this. I'm not saying that
Okay,
it's
yeah,
not normal.
yeah, yeah,
What I
yes.
want to say is like, I think it's really fun that instead of subbing and getting the battery like empty and then it grows with time, no, when you sub, the battery is full and then it starts depleting. Like, that's
Yes.
perfect. That is so good.
Thank you. Yeah, I ended up actually, so it's changed a little bit now because they added the ability to upload sub badges for over a year.
Which was just for partner before, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just for partner before, and it like so this is just a new change. So I had to get like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 new
Yeah, I
badges
checked
made.
them. I think
Yeah,
they're
and I
really
was
cool. Yeah.
like, yeah. So I ended up doing the thing where it charges after you when you hit a year, it's at empty, and then it starts charging back up again, but more fantastical and rainbowy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
it's really cool. The coolest thing too is like you did that. I think Twitch actually like what's the word I'm looking for? But like we're able to do that recently. Like I think when I joined Twitch, like which was like 3 months ago, you were not like we were not able to have that.
Yeah.
You know, like the extra after 1 year.
Yeah.
So it's super cool to go on your channel and then you already see people in chat that use that one. Like so there's people there that have been subbed for that long. Like that is so cool.
Yeah.
Like
It
to
is it is
see.
it's wild. Like
Yeah.
I'll get resubscription notices for like 24 months and I'm like, "Wow, that's like 2 whole years that you've been here."
Yeah. You're like, wow, time flies.
Yeah, yeah.
That is awesome. Everyone, you guys should check it for yourself. Go get that battery.
Thank you.
And as we all know, I mean, this is common knowledge. Everyone in my chat knows this. Your channel is a Sonic channel. We all it's
Oh
like
yeah,
it's we
obviously.
just know
Yeah.
that. So, I mean, jokes aside, like when did this meme start?
It would have started right when I started speedrunning Sonic, which would have been
Oh.
in November 2020. After that happened, surprise, I got a lot of Sonic fans in my chat, and also not just that, but I got a lot of people who were Sonic fans who I didn't know were Sonic fans. So, once I started playing that, everyone's
I
like,
even
"Well,
do
you have to
this.
try out the other games. You've never played like Sonic Adventure."
I was gonna get
Oh,
Sonic in
is that
yeah,
Sonic? Is that Sonic?
that's our boy Sonic.
um,
But then they started telling you to play other Sonic games.
yeah, yeah, kind of. And I was like, you know what? I've never played the adventure games. I might as well. So that's kind of how that happened. Yeah.
How do you like the adventure games? I'm curious because they're very dear to my heart.
I'm sorry to tell you that I hate those games so much. Like, okay, I was ranting about this because I like I was so close to finishing Sonic Adventure 2 today, and then I got stuck on this level like in the final story that like I just rage quit. I just rage quit it, and I was
Oh
like, "Great,
no,
okay, we have to
yeah.
play this next week now."
Hmm.
Um, but
That's yeah.
I liked Sonic Adventure 1's
More.
more I liked it more than 2, I mean, I'm not done with 2, but I've had enough frustrations with 2 that I
Hmm.
don't think I could say that it's a good game at all.
That's what I'm
Um,
afraid of. Yeah, because like I played it when I was a kid and I'm like, maybe those games don't hold up. Because when you're a kid, it's different. You know what I
it's
mean?
different. It's so different, and like especially like with how games control now and how that game controls for a thing that was on Dreamcast that didn't have a dedicated camera.
Hmm.
It's weird. It's weird, and it's so frustrating because there's so many like levels in Sonic Adventure 2 that require you to like jump, like just take a leap of faith and hope that you land on something because you can't move your camera up and down. You can
Yep.
only move it side to side, so you have no idea where anything is before you make the jump.
And the camera is
Um,
great, right? It totally doesn't want to make you puke. It's
yeah,
perfect.
so for those of you who don't know, I didn't have a problem with Sonic Adventure 1, but with 2, I had to take some anti-motion sickness medication in order to play because I was getting super sick from the camera just
That's
being the
wild.
way it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's when I was there when you were playing it for the first time and like just watching you play now these levels and then I'm like, damn, I think I'm starting to have that realization of like, look, I love this game, but it's not that good.
I know, and I
Yeah,
always
it
feel
kind of
really
hurts,
bad
but
because yeah, there's people who are like Sonic Adventure is my favorite Sonic game or Sonic Adventure 2 is my favorite
they are
Sonic
my
game. You're going
favorite
to love
games.
it so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, and I'm just like I'm so sorry. Like I can't say that those are good games.
Damn it. Maybe look, maybe Sonic Colors because people say that like I don't know if it's Colors, but like there's one after the adventure ones that people actually praise, and I
Yeah.
never played because I always stuck to the adventures one, and my dream is like in Sonic Adventure 3. But maybe now that you're saying this, I may be accepting that maybe Sonic Colors or some other Sonic is like the best one.
Yeah, I think I played like maybe one level of Sonic Colors. I from what I understand that game there's a lot of going fast in that game, so um maybe it's worth playing. I don't know.
I think it's funny the Sonic team because you remember the new tease right for the new Sonic game, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do that and I think they expect people to lose their minds, but I think people are just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I think a lot of people are let down by the Sonic franchise, but also like there's such a split between people who like going fast and who like the 2D Sonic games versus people who
Oh, true.
love like the overworld and like the 3D stuff. It's so split. Like, cause
Yeah, I should.
I'm one of those people who only likes the 2D games. I think I've decided.
After this, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
after
After
Sonic
this,
Adventure, you're
yeah,
like, no. I guess
yeah.
you probably like Sonic Mania then, huh? Because
Yeah,
like
oh,
it's
I
like
loved Sonic
super great.
Mania.
Yeah.
Not just that, but it hits the nostalgia as well because you get all those remakes of
Ooh.
levels that you've already played when you were a kid.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They should make more. Like they should do a Mania 2 or something because I remember that game like blew up. People loved it.
Yeah, I would love a Mania 2, maybe with some more like original levels,
Oh, just
less
give
like
them,
rehashes, like just
yeah,
have like same style, like same controls,
but
same
go
like physics.
crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, but create new stuff. I think that would be
Oh, it
amazing.
could be. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Now, going a little back to when we started this, which was when the meme started, which was the speed run, when you started speed running, right? November last year.
Yeah.
So, how has the experience been being a speedrunner?
Oh my god, I love it. I love it so much. I love that game. I love playing like I said earlier that I played a lot of Sonic 2 when I was a kid, but like I think that Sonic like the original Sonic from 1991 is now like my favorite Sonic game. But I guess it'll do that to you if you're playing it like over and over and over. It helps that it's has such a great soundtrack.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no, I've really been enjoying speedrunning. It's so cool. Like, even like it's the first game I've ever speedrun with Sonic the Hedgehog,
Oh,
and like, um, it's really cool going from like I've basically halved my time versus when I first started. Like I've to see myself make that improvement over every week is like a really awesome feeling.
oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So, yeah, just tying in then, can you describe this feeling? Because how does it feel to get a PB? Like to get, like you on that week, you're like, damn, I got it. Like I
Yeah.
actually went fast.
Yeah, no, it's really like motivating too. Like it's a great feeling to begin with, and then like I feel like it really like motivates me to like, oh, now I need to beat my time again. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go all out and try to like practice as much as I can to try to shave off some time from levels that I am like a little bit hesitant on, etc. Yeah.
Hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, I must say that like I join the Sonic streams for when you're trying to get the PB, and like I'm there and I'm watching it, and it's like, oh, reset, reset. Like maybe you get a little far, but then reset because like something happened, and
Yeah.
then no joke, and then I'm like, usually when are those? Is it Friday?
Saturday. Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because like I remember watching it, and then when I leave, or maybe I stream or something, and then I like have to stop watching it, and then I see it on Twitter that day. It's like we finally got a PB, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I'm happy, but I'm like, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be
Yeah.
there for it.
Yeah.
But
I'm
that's
I'm
so
s-
cool.
I'm so close to getting another PB too. Like I
Nice.
it's been well, I feel like it's been coming for like 4 weeks now, and I just it's so close because I'm like I know that like adding up the individual levels, I can get like I can probably shave off like 3 minutes from my current PB, but it's like it's having to perfectly nail those levels
Yeah,
that is the problem, and it's difficult to be that consistent. And I know it'll come with practice, but like
for sure.
consistency is really key.
Too,
Yeah.
yeah. With speedrunning in general, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Was it a difficult decision to get Sonic the Hedgehog to speedrun? Like decide on that game specifically?
Well, the reason I've been interested in speedrunning for a while now. I watch a lot of like GDQ stuff. And it was because of GDQ that I ended up getting into it. There was one point I was watching another Sonic streamer, 2chan, who is the second world record holder for Sonic 1 glitchless.
Whoa.
And she did a GDQ event last year. Yeah, last year, where she speedran Sonic the Hedgehog. And it was I think it was just like her commentary that kind of like convinced me I think I want to run a Sonic game. Um
Whoa.
and so like it took me a little bit to decide which one because I was kind of in between Sonic 1 and 2. I was leaning more towards 2 because I had played a lot as a kid, a lot more than 1. But ultimately I decided to pick 1 because it didn't have spin dashes.
Oh.
It didn't have spin dashes, and also apparently Sonic 2 is very easy to accidentally glitch compared to
Yeah.
1. Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
doing glitchless, even yeah, I think I saw a clip recently, like maybe last month, that you actually got a glitch by mistake. You're like running into a wall, I think,
Yeah, I
so it
had
can
one happen
happen.
to me like 2 weeks ago in a spot that I had never seen, and I was doing like I was on pace to like almost get a PB, I think, at that point, and
Whoa.
I hit the
Yeah.
glitch, and I was like it messed me up. It messed me up
Mm-hmm.
really bad because I lost my concentration and then I just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, because you're like, yeah, this run's fucked. Like, there's nothing you can
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I can't
It's
make up that much time. There was no checkpoint. I have to go back to the beginning of the level, starting 50 seconds
yeah.
behind. Yeah.
But yeah, so I can see that being a good decision then of getting Sonic 1, because like if you're doing Sonic 2 and there's even more like glitches that you can maybe hit by mistake, like it could be frustrating to a level if you're
Yeah.
just like hitting them nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any tips for people that want to start speedrunning, like with your experience today?
Yeah, literally just start. Just do it. Literally just do it. And record yourself doing it if you want. You don't even have to submit. Just like just go
Hmm.
for it. I think a lot of people's hesitation is like, I don't know if I'm gonna be good enough. Whatever. And like it's you just need to go for it. Like just do it. Just do it.
Because you're gonna get good with practice, right? Like you're not gonna
Yeah,
be good on your
exactly.
first
Like you're
try. Like,
not like it takes like obviously like it takes practice and like don't worry about like starting at the bottom of the leaderboard or whatever. Just go for it. Just
does
go
it
for it.
involve a
See if
lot
you like the
of
game.
does
Yeah.
it involve a lot of patience? Because it feels like it does, right? Because
Uh
I think it can get
yeah,
frustrating at some points at least.
it can. But I'm a person who really likes like repetition and I'm also I also do taekwondo. I mean, I haven't because of the pandemic recently. But I compete at competitions like doing patterns
Oh,
and stuff
nice.
for that. So like it kind of like when I was thinking about speedrunning, I kind of it's almost the same type of thing. Like you're doing something over and over so that you get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, I
that's
love that analogy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, just go
And
fast.
recently, yeah,
Yeah.
just gotta go fast. And recently, you join an all-female speedrunning group, which I think is super cool, right? The
Yeah,
Frame
yeah. So
Fatales.
it's women and non-binary people, and it's a private Discord because
Of course, yeah,
don't
the
want
internet.
harassment.
Yep.
But yeah, Frame Fatales is it's an event that or a speedrunning group that runs events for GDQ, like for on GDQ. So you might have seen like Frame Fatales, which was their summer version. They're also doing like a Frost Fatales later on this year. And I was watching the Flame Fatales event that happened like I want to say like it was like mid-August or something. And they were like, "Oh, we have a Discord, come on by." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, why not? I'm
Yeah.
seems like a cool place to be." So I joined it, and I find it really interesting because they do like first of all, there's a lot of tips for um like I've learned a lot about like submitting speed runs for like events and what they kind of look
Oh.
for, that type of thing. But also the one thing that's super interesting to me is that they do a game of the month. So basically everyone like takes a vote and then everyone runs that game for that month and you share your tips and whatever, and that's super neat. So this month they're doing Hades.
That's so good
So
for a
I've kind
community.
of
Yeah.
yeah, I've kind of been getting into speedrunning Hades the last few days as well, which has been pretty fun.
Whoa, that
Yeah.
seems so. Speedrunning Hades is basically doing the whole game until you do what? Beat Hades or beat the
So it's
story?
so it's
What
not
is
the
the?
story. It's there's first of all there's a whole bunch of different categories for it.
I
Like
see.
there's some really interesting specific stuff. But without too many spoilers, it's when you enter the like it's when you start the game, like you basically go into the game section. So the timer starts there and it ends when you beat Hades. So
Oh, I
you can
see.
choose there's different categories. There's like any percent, which is you can beat on like any difficulty
Mm-hmm.
to count for that leaderboard. There's also like things that go up to like you can change the difficulty in the game by adding heat is basically what it's
Yeah, the
called.
heat. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like 32 heat runs, etc. And then plus that there's even more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can use like any weapon. Uh
Oh, because
but
it changed
yeah.
with the weapon. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, things change a lot with the weapons that you choose. You want to make sure you pick something that will allow you to go fast.
That is a really cool speed run because like if you're starting like from the start of the game, you literally don't have a single thing, like because of course you're gonna die a few times, but like there's that decision of like where you're gonna put the points, where you're gonna invest
Yeah,
your
so
things, like
yeah. The one good thing about that is that you can either do in-game time or real time for that. I've been using in-game time, which is great because there's a timer and it pauses when you pause the game.
oh yeah.
So, and it also pauses in certain rooms. So, like, if you are, once you go to pick one of your boons, that menu is all paused. So you have time to wait there.
Mm-hmm.
But even like, there's people who do, like, I've been watching some speed runs of it, and it's like, they're so quick to make those decisions. It's like, it's wild.
Yeah, they're probably used to it, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. For me, when I was playing it recently because it was released on Game Pass,
Hmm.
and I think it was pretty cool because without getting into much like a lot of spoilers, like I got to Hades, but I didn't manage to kill Hades. But when you go outside the first time, you do unlock something, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, now that I unlock this, GG, well played. Like, of course, it still took like a few more tries, but then I was able to get it. So like, I love that. I don't know, like doing a speed run, you can be like, okay, I just need to get outside to unlock this, and then I'll be like, the
Yeah.
strategy of it could be really fun.
Yeah, and Hades is one of those games that like you can keep playing that game like forever. There's always ways to make it more difficult. There's always new stuff to unlock. There's always new dialogue. Like even after you beat the game like 10 times or whatever, there's like one ending. But then like there's stuff after that too. And
Yeah.
I beat the game. I got the ending back in December last year. And then like I went back to it like a week ago or whatever, and like there's so much dialogue after that point. Like there's so
Yep.
many side quests that I haven't seen. There's all this dialogue from characters I've never seen. It's amazing. That game is so good.
It really is. We
Yeah.
kind of ended up talking a lot about Hades, but like with the Frame Fatales, like the Discord community and like these speed runs, do you plan on maybe like you're gonna be able to participate in some events? Like there's some maybe like doing some streams that like they do like what do I say? It's like helping a cause, you know, like maybe they do those kinds of
Yeah,
streams as
yeah,
well.
totally. I'm planning on I've actually so I've submitted for an event. My first speedrunning event.
Oh,
That's supposed
nice.
to be happening at the end of September, possibly. I haven't been accepted yet or anything. I think applications just closed today.
Hmm.
Um, but it's called Girls Go Fast, I think.
Oh, I
But yeah,
love
I'll be
it.
posting. I'll be posting. It's like their first year doing the event, and
Yeah,
I put my application in because I'm like I'm not the best. Like I'm like 36th on the leaderboard, whatever. But like I want to participate. I would like to get some experience.
for sure.
Um, yeah,
So that's pretty nice. Yeah, like being part of this community now could open so many doors in speedrunning. Like, and
yeah,
you
totally.
go into these kinds of events, and I think having these kinds of groups too is also good for like charity. Not it's not charity events, but you know what I mean. Just like doing fundraising. I think that's what I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
say. But
yeah,
like in helping communities, that could be really really fun.
yeah, totally.
Now, this is a kind of a personal question. I threw it in here because it's something that kind of I'm like curious about this because
Okay.
when I play games on stream, I like have two games basically on the week. I play like a game Monday, Wednesday, and one on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But when I
Hmm.
look at your schedule, there's sometimes you play only one, like a game once a week. So my question is how it is to stream a game once a week. Like, it's gonna take a long time to finish. Like, what's the
Yeah.
decision behind it?
So I like to play a bunch of games and I like to show everyone like a wide variety of games. I generally there's one I consider well my current schedule. I didn't used to do this. I used to just play one game because I usually only had like an hour and a half to stream per day. But once I started switching over to full time, I was like I kind of want to get a few more games in there. I also used to like the other thing is I used to stream twice a day because I'd stream like for an
Oh,
hour and a half and then I'd stream at night as well. And so like I
mm-hmm,
would get a lot more variety in my games because I would be playing like multiple games like multiple times per week. But when I switched over, I basically consider myself to have one main game that I'm playing at the moment. So it's usually like I play that on Monday and Thursday, that one game. On
mm-hmm,
Tuesday, I like to save it for indie games and like visual novels and stuff. And then Friday we do like crowd control stuff because that's fun because the chat gets to mess me
oh,
up
I
or
see.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I kind of have it set up that way. It does take a while to get through some games, but I like to also like I mean Tuesdays are we're playing Ace Attorney, the Great Ace Attorney right now on Tuesdays. Usually I'd like to put like a smaller, shorter game on Tuesdays, and like kind of like indie games. I like to focus on indie games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's usually how Tuesdays go. But yeah, it's a bit weird now because I the Great Ace Attorney came out and I love the Ace Attorney series, so I
Oh
had to
no, yeah,
play
we're
it.
flooded with like good games. It's Ace Attorney, it's Psychonauts. It's like, how do you
Yeah, oh
play all
yeah,
these games?
there's so many games that I would love to play on stream, but it's like I honestly like I have lists of games and then like I have things planned out like 3 months, 3 4 months in advance for like when I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing. Um it's
So
difficult to
basically,
decide what to play.
yeah. So basically, like this whole decision of having a game like show up only once a week, it's basically just the way you have your schedule. Like, there's nothing, like, it's just, it happens to be this way.
Yeah, it happens. It just happens to kind of be that way. And I'm fine with playing. Like obviously like for example with Great Ace Attorney, like I'm not gonna like this it's the same story. It's not like I have to remember how to play a game every week, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because I'm famously bad for like remembering buttons and like even if I've played a game like for 30 hours, I come back to it, I'm like, I have no idea what buttons I have to press.
No, that
That's
happens.
just a me thing. I don't know.
It's not.
um,
I was playing Witcher 3 and
oh
I had to
god.
stop to play something else.
Yeah.
And the controls are not famous for being good. And I was like, okay, so I played that other thing. Time to go back to Witcher. I'm like, how do I do this? And I need to learn everything back. Here's the thing, I
Hey,
played for other like 5 hours, had to stop again. And then when I went back again, I didn't know what I was doing again. I'm like, no, I
yeah.
can't. And then I never
Um,
finished the game because of it.
yeah, a similar thing happened to me with the Assassin's Creed, like way back. Like I got pretty decently far into that game and then I stopped playing it for whatever reason. And I tried to go back into it and I'm like, wow, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, you're
And
like
I
the
never
time
played it
that's gonna
again.
take. Exactly. You're like the time that's gonna take for me to actually learn this again. Like,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. No
So
no one has
basically,
time for that.
streaming the game once a week doesn't really bother you. Then it's like it's
No.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, in
Now,
the case of Psychonauts, I'm very upset that I'm not
yeah.
playing like rushing through that game because I love it, but I can wait. I can wait. It's fine.
No, I guess we learn as well. It's like we learn to
Yeah.
be patient.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, I totally understand that because when I played it the first time, because the game, I don't know if you remember, the game came out at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. The Tuesday it came out, it was at 9 p.m. So I only
Yeah, yeah,
streamed it for 3 hours. And after those three first hours, I was like, I just need to play this game. I just need to play this
yeah,
right now. Like, it's really, really good.
yeah,
That game does make you feel like that.
yeah. It's very good.
So, as additional questions here for the streaming portion, I would like us to talk a little bit about your Ko-Fi.
Okay, yep.
Because for me, yeah, I think it's really cool because it's something that I'm not familiar with, and I think the way you handle it, it's pretty pretty cool. So I would love to like learn more about it.
Sure. So it's actually pronounced Kofi, like
Oh,
no fee.
Kofi, I
Kofi,
see.
yeah.
Kofi. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, it's pretty great. Like I know that there's a lot of different ways that you can support Twitch streamers off of Twitch. Like for example, like I know people have like a fan house account or like a Patreon. Kofi is basically the same type of thing as those.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I like about Kofi is that they also have the ability to have like a online shop as well, in
Oh,
addition to people being able to donate, and then they can also subscribe on there. I just kind of use it as a little bit of like an extra thing so that people can like so for example, like I post a lot of like behind the scenes shots there, like pictures of stuff,
whoa,
pictures of
nice. Yeah.
delicious food that I eat, etc. Um and it's just it's awesome to be able to point people to resources like that for streamers because like Twitch takes a huge cut of your subs.
Oh,
Basically they
oh,
take 50%.
we're gonna
Sorry,
get
do you
into
do you do you
that.
wanna go into okay, okay.
We are gonna get
We
into
will? Okay.
all of that.
Yeah,
Yes,
so they take, like they take an extraordinary amount, and even when you buy bits, like, the creators or who you're donating to, they get to keep all the bits, but you pay a huge markup on bits when you buy them,
I see.
which is how they get away from that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I keep trying to tell people like if your favorite creator has a way to support them off of Twitch, like please go support them off of Twitch because they'll probably it'll more of it will go to them and less to like a greedy corporation that
To
has a ton of money
Bezos.
already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of I have it set up so that I have like two subscription tiers right now on my Ko-fi. So I have like $5 just to like support me. You get to see all my content,
Yeah.
and then I have a sticker club at the $8 tier,
Which is
which is
awesome.
basically like yeah. So like we basically I take all a list of all the memes that we came up with that month, and then I draw a sticker based on like we vote for which idea they like best, and then I draw a sticker based on that. Um, so that's been pretty fun. It's been cool to like kind of offer that, and then I get to do some drawing as well, and yeah,
Nice. And I think that's really cool, like as a way to like support like a creator, right? Like these other as you said, like you said it perfectly. And
yeah.
you also have other endeavors, like one of them being here on Twitch, which we kind of hinted at a little bit earlier.
Oh yes. So I like I was talking about my original this account that I'm using, MetroidCrime, was originally a different account and it would just run this script that would run a Genesis emulator and it would play the game Risk from Sega Genesis. Um so as a kid, the reason I came up with this idea in the first place, Risk was a game I had for Sega Genesis, and me and my siblings would basically turn on the game and set every single player to a computer player on like the highest difficulty, and we would just watch it play out. And I was thinking about like a cool programming project to do, and I ended up making that. And that was kind of the first thing that I broadcast to my Twitch channel. It runs off of a Raspberry Pi, which is like a very tiny computer. Um, and I basically like programmed it and etc. And then I had this thing running. But a few weeks back, I kind of got an inspiration to relaunch it. Actually, I want to say it's a few months now. I'm not sure when that was. Um, but so I decided to relaunch it under its own channel. It's called Aristocracy, which is kind of weird to say.
That's why I'd even
If you
try
see
it. I
it,
was like, I'm
if you
gonna
see it,
butcher it.
yeah, it's yeah. It's kind of hard to say. But it's like aristocracy. Yeah, it's basically like I have it set up. I've added some like improvements now where you can like predict who's going to win for an eventual like point system down the road. But
Team Pink.
um Yeah, it's been pretty neat. You can go in, pick a team, cheer on your
Yeah, I'm
team.
Team Pink.
Yeah.
They're
I'm also
disappointing
Team Pink,
me.
yeah.
They're disappointing me lately.
So yeah, it's actually been kind of wild though. There's been some games that have been running for like days and days and days on end. So
Whoa.
we had one that just ended that ran for 13 days straight. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Which is
That's
wild.
awesome.
Like I
Yeah.
had no idea. Like I was just like, is this ever going to end? I'm worried my power is going to go out before this ends. And like it was wild. I think it was green and purple. It was originally green, purple, and pink, and I think pink lost like day 3 or
No,
something.
Pink.
And then it was just purple and green for like several days battling it out.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. Everyone should check that because it's really, really good. And pick a team. Team Pink, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
No bias.
Yeah.
uh, I think we can go to like a little more live questions right now.
Okay.
Do you? I think we kind of alluded to this as well. Wanted to ask if you have a job outside of streaming today.
Yes, yes I do. I am working part-time uh because of pandemic.
Yeah.
I was working full-time as a computer programmer. But after pandemic happened, they can only afford to have me for half that time now. So I do that. I'm a computer programmer as my part-time job. Yeah, and
And
it's good. I've been programming for a long time.
nice. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. Computer
Yeah.
programming is super cool. And how was the transition then, like last year, to a full time streamer? Was it scary?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was scary because I was like, do again, like it wasn't the most like it was an ideal situation because like I was losing that income because
Yeah.
I got knocked down to part time and I was kind of like, oh my god, what the hell am I going to do? So I kind of decided to put everything into Twitch and just go for it.
Yeah, I'm so
And see
glad it's
what
been working
happens, you
out.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like it's difficult sometimes, and there's a lot of like when you are the product, it's there's a lot of like I want to say almost like not like self hatred, but I don't know how to explain this. Like when people like when you get trolled and people say things to you, it's like they're insulting you, but like it's like your persona almost. Like
I see.
it's a kind of weird like mental thing where like am I good enough? Like and then you look at other streamers who pull in bigger numbers and like compare yourself to them and that type of thing can get really depressing.
Yeah,
I
for
try to
sure.
stay away from that, but I mean like it's really difficult like when you are the product that you are like pushing on people. It's
Yeah,
a kind of a weird thing to get used to.
for sure. Yeah, I love that take on it because yeah, it's a good insight on what it is to stream, when like the difficult part of it, like comparing yourself to other streamers, which is something like, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, like you can't really do
You
that because it's
really
gonna,
can't
yeah,
because everyone has their own like kind of journey. It's just I think about it and I'm like, I need to stop thinking about that. It's
for
not
sure.
productive. It's
Yeah.
not helpful. Um, uh, yeah, yeah.
And how is life right now? Because like because I was gonna say, like, the pandemic is not over,
No,
obviously.
yeah,
Here
yeah,
in Brazil it's like not even close.
yeah.
But how is it now, like trying to adapt to like this, how life was before? Like, do you feel like you're there, or like, no, maybe?
It's such a weird thing because everything feels like it's like a thousand times more difficult to do. I don't know how to explain. I guess maybe from the overhanging like depression of the pandemic in general. But like
Yeah.
I feel like in like even for me, like recently the gyms started reopening again. So I've been going to the gym. Of course, it's very scary. You don't have to wear a mask there, and I'm like,
Yeah, you're
because
like
yeah, and I'm literally the only person that wears a mask there. But also like our cases are not super high, but I do get worried that we're gonna get locked down again in like October once
coming up.
schools start
Yeah,
reopening. Like we have a pretty good like vaccination rate, but still it's still not enough to make us like the
for
population
sure.
immune enough that it won't be a problem, you know?
Hmm.
But it's been very strange to adjust to it because it just feels like there's just like so much more fatigue, like in general, just
Yeah.
because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I also think that like the things that we used to do are gonna become more difficult, right? Just as you said, like
Yeah,
maybe going back to the gym or something.
yeah. And like it's weird, like I've been able to hang out with some friends, but like I used to like, we'd swap food and stuff and share drinks and like how does your beer taste? I don't know. Do you want to taste it? Yeah, sure. But you can't do that anymore
Yeah.
because it's not like I won't be comfortable with that for a long time, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't want to bring it down, but yeah, the pandemic definitely hit everyone
Yeah, yeah.
in a way. But yeah, I cannot wait to go back to what it was, but the thing is I don't think we'll ever go back to
I
what it
don't
was,
think
right?
so either.
Yeah. It's
Things are
not.
different now, right? And like
Yeah.
this happened once, like how many more times is this going to happen like in our lifetime like with like the variants and everything too?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know. It's
I was I was thinking about
scary.
this recently. Yeah. I was going to tell my mom and my stepdad like, "Oh, I hope that in the next pandemic we're all living near each other." But like that's so dark to say, you know what I mean? Like
It
next
is, but
pandemic
also
is like,
like yeah,
jeez. But it's
yeah,
kind of but it's kind of like it could happen, you know.
absolutely. Like
It's
I mean,
scary.
yeah, how many years has it been between like SARS and now? It's been like 20 years or something. I actually don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Um, yeah, but
Yeah, it's
scary.
like now that we see what could happen and happened, we're like, okay, yeah, this like we just see the way things happen and we're like, okay, this thing could easily happen again because people don't
Yeah.
seem to learn and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is like I've seen a lot of tweets about like zombie apocalypse movies are not as ridiculous now because like you see how people react when there's a deadly virus like
Yeah.
yeah.
To bring the mood back a little bit, I think we should talk a little bit about music. Music's something
Okay.
that I love. I'm
hmm
always listening to music. So, what have you been listening to lately?
Um I've been listening to a lot of like video game covers and lo-fi stuff. As for like stuff that's not that,
That counts too.
an album, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of really good like Game Chops covers of like Sonic songs and like just all sorts of like Animal Crossing lo-fi, Zelda lo-fi.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Some really good stuff. I've also been listening to an kind of an older album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Ooh, I never heard of it.
Yeah, she's great. That's a really good album. I've also I watched Fear Street, the new Fear Street movies that came out recently, and they had a lot of like 90s
Oh.
alternative music in them. And like I went and found a whole bunch of the songs and added them to my playlist. I'm like, I haven't heard these in forever. um, yeah.
And Escape from the City, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course. I listen to a lot of that.
That's pretty cool. Do you have any recommendations then for people? Because I love these, like, we were listening to like these lo-fi, like Zelda, lo-fi, Sonic, you know, like these other
Yeah.
style. Like, do you have any recommendations?
For the lo-fi stuff, I do.
Yeah, like for either the lo-fi or any music in general.
Um I'm trying to think of like an album I really liked recently, but I feel like I haven't been listening to like new music really. I listened to the new Billie Eilish album and I was a little bit underwhelmed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's just because I liked the first one so much. Maybe I'm not in the right
Hmm.
headspace for the second one. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah,
Um,
I loved it.
yeah,
I
there's a few
really,
songs I like.
yeah, I
There's a few
really loved
songs
it.
I like, but like honestly, the first album that she put out, I felt like every single song was
Well,
like
like killer. I see.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and this one's like kind of a little bit more mellow.
Yeah, I'll take it. I
Yeah.
still love it, but I'll take it.
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
the difference. Yeah, same thing with the Lord album. I don't know if you listened to it, but people don't like the recent Lord album also because it's like changed the vibe, and people were like, "Wait a second,
Yeah.
where's
Yeah.
Lord?"
Yeah.
Yeah, if I
Um,
had to recommend while you maybe think of something, but like if I had to recommend something, I listened to the new Halsey album that
okay,
came
yeah.
out a few days ago. It's pretty good. I really liked it. If for anyone that likes Halsey, it's like same vibes, still good, really really good. And of course, coming up the Little Nas X. album.
Oh
I think
yeah.
it's not next week, but it's the 17th of September, and oh, I'm just like I am
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, he is such a master troll.
Yep.
I love following his Twitter account. It's amazing. Like he's just like shitting on people constantly because I mean they're assholes to him
Yeah.
towards him
Hmm.
because of like everything. But like I really like his stuff is so creative and he knows how to stir shit up.
Yeah. The pictures of him pregnant were the best.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very good.
Should we
Um
skip to the other question? Do you have a recommendation? You're
Yeah,
still
I was trying to
thinking?
think of something specifically. Like I have my favorite band is probably Mother Mother. I don't know if you've heard of them. I think they're
Ooh,
pretty
yeah. That
popular now.
that name is familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to I like their older stuff. I really like an album they put out called Eureka.
Ooh,
It's I
I
think it's
never
their
heard of it, but
third album. But yeah, they're pretty neat. They're pretty neat. They're Canadian.
nice. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Besides gaming, here for the last question of the segment, do you have other passions beside gaming, like board games, movies?
I hate board games.
Whoa, really? No way, no
I mean,
way.
I have a lot of knowledge about board games, but I don't. I am a little
Really?
bit burned out on them for reasons that I'm not going to talk about because reasons, personal life stuff. But
Yeah.
I know a lot about board games. I can talk about board games. But in general, I don't know what else do I like. I like
Yeah,
reading graphic
besides gaming
novels.
then. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Um, I like weightlifting. I love weightlifting.
Ooh, yeah.
I do like I said, I do taekwondo. I'm a black belt in taekwondo. Um,
Oh, I love these hobbies. These are
yeah.
the best. Yeah, this is super cool.
I haven't really done much of this recently, but I do some art stuff and like I like crafting. I like electronic textiles, which is like mixing electronics with like clothing and stuff. Um, yeah. I can go into more detail on any of those if you want to
That is
talk about
awesome.
them.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
taekwondo, is it a passion that you had like ever since you were young? Like because you're a black belt, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
It
so
takes dedication.
oh yeah. I went to Taekwondo when I was younger. It was a different type of Taekwondo. There's two branches of Taekwondo,
Hmm.
ITF and WT. One stands for international and the other one stands for world, and it's very confusing. But I started off in ITF when I was younger, and I did that until I was 12, and then I realized I like computers more. I don't want to go to class anymore, and I want to work
Yeah.
on computer stuff. Uh, which ultimately, like, I that's how I ended up learning how to program. So I mean, that's good in the long run, but also like
Yeah.
um my physical, like I got really bad at doing physical activity and I hated sports.
Oh, I see.
Type of thing. But then I ended up kind of after okay, so I had breast cancer back in 2015. So after I went through all the treatment for all of that, I was like, I need to do something for my health, and like I enjoyed fighting and martial arts enough that I want to go back to Taekwondo. So I did that. And it's been excellent. I love doing it. I'm now a black belt, which means I can do like international competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had started going to that. Like I went to the US Open in 2020 right before the pandemic. Like literally the week before I was in Florida at the Taekwondo Open uh performing there,
Yeah.
and yeah, I got back and then everything shut down. So I didn't get to
Damn
do
it.
much. But so like I'm looking forward to traveling and going to more competitions and stuff once the pandemic kind of calms down a little bit.
Whoa, I'm glad you like went back to Taekwondo and kind of rekindled that flame. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And you keep yourself like you're exercising, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not only that, but from the like I never did it, but from the I think maybe what we talked here and the idea I have of it, it's like it's really this thing for your mind, you know. I think it really helps out with like your like emotional, you know, just like everything, right?
Yeah,
Like it
I
helps with your whole
agree.
life basically,
Yeah.
right?
Honestly, like if like during the pandemic I wasn't doing much exercise and you could like my mood tanked. Like
Yeah.
ridiculously. So it's been really nice getting back into it. Yeah, and I really missed lifting heavy stuff because I don't have weights in my apartment. So like being able to go back to the gym and do weightlifting is like so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for. I never liked the gym, but I'm now after the pandemic. I'm actually looking forward to at one point going back to it because I'm like I actually miss it now. I never liked
Yeah.
it, but I miss
Yeah.
it.
I mainly focus on like like heavy stuff. So like and like the main lifts, so like squat, deadlift, overhead press, bench press. And then
Yeah.
I do like accessory work as well. But like it's cool. Like it's cool getting a new PB, I guess. Like when you lift like a really heavy weight and you're like, wow, I couldn't do
Yeah.
this before and now I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I would just like to remind everyone too here to kind of end this segment. We've been talking a lot about Cathanathon
Yes.
because Tawija is part of Cathanathon, and then Great Newton's part of Cathanathon, like behind the scenes, and
Mhm.
you're also part of Cathanathon. So
Yes.
yeah, I think it's really cool just to remind people that that's a thing. And
Yes.
right, do you want to explain a little bit of like what it is, just really
Yeah,
quick?
sure. It's basically we play the board game Settlers of Catan, which I think is now just shortened to be Catan. We play it basically until the donations stop coming in, which usually ends up being around like the 24-hour mark. But donating will allow you to mess with the game and mess with the players, which is great. We endure that pain to raise money to fight cancer, so it's all for a good cause. And this year is its 10th year. I've been involved
Nice.
since
Yeah.
around I think the second or third year, I believe. So yeah, it's a huge milestone for us. I haven't been as involved in the planning this year, just for my own mental health.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been hearing about some of the stuff that we've been talking about, and I'm super excited for this year.
Yeah. We had
Um,
some
it, it
teases. Yeah.
yeah. It's happening on October 27th, starting at 7
Oh,
p.m.
you have a
Eastern.
date. Nice. So
Yep.
October 27th, 7
22nd. 22nd. Did I say
22nd.
7? 22.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
22nd October. And what's the time?
I think it's 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. I love that you like that there's a date now. We'll be
Yeah.
there. You
Yeah.
bet we'll be there.
I'm pretty sure that's the date. I hope that's actually I confirmed yesterday with great news, so I think that's still the case. But yeah, it is a lot of Catan, and you can, I mean, if you're asking why I hate board games, this is partially the reason.
Yeah, that's that like I'm not like when you said that you hated board games, I was like maybe I shouldn't even mention Cathanathon at this point. I'm like,
No,
oh.
it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of a gimmick. It's kind of a gimmick. If you know my history with board games, then it makes sense. But I've kind of been going with this gimmick on my own channel where I'm just like, I hate board games.
I actually bought it. I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
I was like, I
I
won't
mean,
talk it. I
I
won't
don't
talk.
hate them. I don't play them as much
I see. Yeah.
as I used to. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, the way you said, I was like, I'm not going there. I'm not even gonna like, board game's dead. Not
What
gonna
what
mention
is
it.
what's your favorite board game?
Uh,
Sorry, I'm
should I
flipping
say
this
it?
onto you.
No,
Yeah.
no, you can. But should I say it because it is Catan.
Is
It
it?
is.
Okay.
It
Okay.
is.
No, listen,
It
that was one of
is.
the first like modern board games that I played, and I enjoyed it when I first played it. It's just that, playing it for 24 hours every year
Yeah, it
for
is a
like
lot.
8 years is a lot.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I can see you're like, look, I'm just gonna distance myself from board games altogether because I'm gonna get my board game fix in a single day for the whole
A
year.
single
That's
day
kind
for
of
the
the
whole
vibe.
year. It
Yeah.
burns me out for the whole year, like it's that much.
I see it now. But yeah, I like board games. I'm the kind of person where, like, if I get income and stuff, I would have like a wall behind me, just like full of board games, like that kind of person. I really
Yeah, I have
really
that.
like board games. Oh, see, I knew, like, I knew something was up when you said you hated them. I was like, no, something is wrong here.
Yeah.
But I totally understand. Just like it's exactly what we said. It's like if you're burning yourself out on a date like that, of course you're gonna be a little like. Can you imagine someone just like today? Let's say this weekend, someone comes up to you, like, oh, let's play some Catan. You're gonna be like, look, no, I'm gonna play
No.
this thing for 24 hours really soon. Like
Mhm.
I'm okay. but I totally understand it. But yeah,
Yeah.
board games are cool. Come on. Come on.
Some
But
board
that's
games I like.
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any in mind right now? That's not Catan. Catan.
One of my favorite ones is called Divinare.
Ooh,
And
I
it's
never
like a
heard of that
fortune
one.
telling game. Yeah, I don't think it's in print anymore. It's a pretty old game.
Whoa,
It has
yeah.
really cool art though. I also like for like social games, I like Code Words. It's Code Words, right? Or
Code
Code
names?
Names?
I
Code
think it's
Names,
code
sorry.
names. Yeah.
Yes, Code
Code
Names.
names is really fun. Yeah.
Code Names is great. Especially if you're partnered with someone who like you know really well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
those kinds of games too. Like Avalon, Secret Healer,
I get a little
just
bit
like
like I don't like bluffing. I think that's I'm not a huge
oh.
fan of like Resistance or
Yeah, it's
Avalon, but
resistance, yeah.
I really like Coup. I don't know if you've played that.
Coup. Yes, I
Yes,
have
Coup
it.
is I love
Yeah.
Coup, and I'm fine bluffing like that. But when you get into games like Spyfall, Avalon, Resistance, where you have to like actively prove to someone that you're not the bad guy,
But you are?
get
It's like,
flustered. I
yeah.
get flustered.
Hmm.
I don't like being put on the spot like that. So I tend to stay away from games like that in
I
general.
completely understand, yeah, because coup, it's like if someone thinks you're lying, they can just call it, and then they caught it. It's like okay, it's done.
But
But
it's
then
done, yeah. Yeah, you
yeah,
don't have
but
to
a
worry about it again.
resistance is like you lied, and then you prove to someone, and then that someone is like looking at you, and then you do something else, and then you need to continue to prove that person that you're innocent. Yeah, yeah, it's a whole thing. It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is. I love it. I
Yeah.
really like those kind of games. But yeah, nice. I think now we're gonna move on to our next segment,
Okay.
and this is a segment where I've been thinking about putting out a video together that I play right now, just for people to like understand the next segment, because I've been trying to create a lore for it. It's
Mhm.
been like last week I started tossing in the lore, and the guest, which was Tebow, he was just looking at me just like, what is he talking about? This is
Yeah.
insane.
No, I liked it. I really liked it. I caught that. I think it was I don't know if it was did you do it the week before as well, possibly?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I
started
really
with
like it. I like
yeah,
it.
I started with Great Newtons
Mhm.
and did it last week, and then for this week, like I think I'm gonna avoid the lore though, because
Okay. Sure.
it got really crazy. I'll do this for everyone that's following the lore. For everyone that's following the lore, there will be a bit at the end then of the segment. I'll do something at the end for this week, and then I'll prepare maybe a bigger thing for next week. But yeah, this everyone is a segment where we have a sweet, a meat, and a spice, which are the gaming news that we're going to talk about this week. And for this week, we're going to have at least this for this week. I'm not going to take everything out. You, Crime, you're walking the streets of one of the colonies across space. You're in the streets of a big city in a colony,
Okay.
and you're really hungry, and you come up to this chili stand, right? That's Sonic's favorite food, right?
He enjoys chili dogs.
Chili, yeah,
Yes, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
chili dog stand. Yeah, I was like, wait, it's not just chili. Yeah, it's chili dogs. So you're really hungry, then you come up to this chili dog stand in the street, and then you want to buy some food, and then the guy's like, look, right here we follow the sweet meat and spice business method. That's what we have to do. When you first step to my stand over here, you already signed the thing where you need to consume all three like meals. There's nothing you can do. Like you stepped over here. If you try to run, we'll call the cops. It's a
Yeah.
whole thing. So, which one would you like first this week? The sweet, the meat, or the spice? Which chili dog? These are all chili dogs,
Let's go
by the way.
with sweet chili dog sounds
It is what
let's
it
go
is.
with spicy first.
Oh, nice. For today's spice, we're going to talk about the complicated world of game reviews.
Okay.
Because different outlets, they use different formats to score a game. And not only that, but the person reviewing the game also has a personal input that's really important to the whole process.
Mhm.
And it's understandable that the audience could get a different opinion, but sometimes it gets a little out of hand. For example, for Days Gone, the game did not review well, like it got like 6 for most outlets, but the audience was just furious toward reviewers, and it got ugly. Let's say that
Yeah.
it was not supposed to be that way. So, does the weight of reviews today, does it make it difficult for people to understand its subjectivity? Is that a word? I wrote subjectivity, but so like
Yeah,
is the weight, so like reviews have this weight today. Does
they
that
do.
make it difficult for people to understand the subjectivity of it?
I guess so. Like I think that if you were reading um like I think all different types of review sites review things their own way, right? Like
Yeah.
so if you're reading the reviews from like one consistent person, I feel like you could get into like you would if you like knew their style,
Yeah.
then you could trust them more, I guess, in their opinion. Um but like yeah, in general, like I try not to follow reviews. I much prefer to like play stuff for myself to
Yeah.
see. It's difficult because there's so many gaming news outlets out there as well. Like there's no way that they're all going to agree. Like everyone has such different tastes. And I think
Yes.
if you are someone who looks at reviews, you have to find someone who you like vibe with, I guess.
Yeah, they have the same
Like
tastes as you,
same
kind
taste.
of.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know the other games that they like, and so you would get an idea based like more tailored to you as to um what they might enjoy would be something that you would also enjoy, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a whole, that's why I had the discussion here, because I was like, what should we talk about? And I wrote about this a long time ago. I wrote a whole article about this, and I
Hmm.
made like a whole like dossier. I went into like IGN, I think it was IGN, Polygon, I think, and Easy
Hmm.
Allies, and how they review games. And like
Hmm.
as you were saying before, the review method is different for all of them, and also the way they score games is different.
Oh
You know,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
so uh, that's already like subjective on its own. But then you also add the reviewer, and you're like, everyone has different
Yeah.
tastes. So
Um
right, like I was gonna ask if it's important to you, but I think you already got into that where you prefer to play things on your own, right?
yeah, like I'll do like a general like reading of reviews, but like it's more that I just don't trust the opinion of like I don't know, I guess I haven't
Yeah.
found someone who has like the same opinions as me in terms of video
Mm-hmm.
games, but yeah, I don't know, it is very subjective.
Yeah, it really is. And for example, with the Days Gone thing, it's like the game got 6, which is like I played that game. Like
Mhm.
I would also give it like sure I enjoyed my time, but like I would give it a 6 as well. Like but like I can see someone liking it, but that's not a reason to maybe like harass someone just
Oh
because
yeah,
like
no,
right, people don't understand that like because that game got that score, it doesn't mean that the game is bad in a
yeah.
way, right?
Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of pressure like also from like advertisers or like whoever like gave you the game code like you don't want to like trash their game, right? Like it's weird because I guess there's like disclosure stuff and I mean like
Yeah.
and there's also like the thing where like people think that like any game less than like a 9 out of 10 is bad. There you get
Which
people
is
like that
yeah.
too, which is ridiculous, like just
Mm-hmm.
completely and then yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just as I said, like I had fun with Days Gone. Like I still think would be like maybe a 6 or something for me, but but like it's still fun. It was a
Yeah, it
fun
could
game
be
to
a
play.
10 for someone else, right? Like that just
Exactly.
could be their
Yeah.
style, right?
And the thing you mentioned now too is like, oh, we're going in deep now, because when you mentioned like when like the reviewers get the codes and stuff, like that could influence in a way. Like it shouldn't,
Yeah.
but and we hope it doesn't, but that could happen. I can see that happening in a way where you're like, ooh, I can't really trash this game, so maybe I'll boost the score a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I think it.
Um
Do you agree with me when I think it's a fault of the industry itself, because we all hear these things where, oh, this company is gonna receive a bonus if the game has 80 plus on Metacritic. So like
it's
if they're building
ridiculous.
it like this,
Yeah.
they're making reviews so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, it's hard to be I feel like it's hard to be impartial when something like that happens like especially like I don't know. That thing about, like, people getting is did something like that happen with, like, CD Projekt Red with, like, Cyberpunk or whatever?
I
With,
just know the
like
reviewers. I think the game just reviewed really bad.
yeah.
I don't know if people actually got mad about it.
Yeah. Which I've also heard that they've, like, patched that game so that it's, like, not as bad. Like, I noticed that, like, I
It's
know that a
back
lot
on
of people are
PlayStation, yeah.
yeah, I also feel like I wonder about, like, if like, there's games like that that come out where there's, like, so much hype for it to begin with that, like, it could
Yeah,
never, ever live up to the expectations that you
true.
have in your head, especially with, like, how long that game was supposed to be coming out for. And then, like, I feel like people who reviewed it at the beginning would be like, "Yeah, this sucks," but then if you wait a little bit, maybe after the hype
Hmm.
has been, uh, like, died down a little bit, maybe you don't find the game as bad. And I feel like there's been a lot
Yeah.
of streamers I've seen who have been like, "Yeah, this game's actually not, like, terrible."
Hmm.
Yeah.
Here's the question that I pose to you then to kind of conclude the spice here, which is what if someone, which is the problem with reviews, it's like, what if someone doesn't have enough money to buy games? How did the person decide which games to buy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could be like
Um,
the problem where you like then that person needs to use reviews because like they need a way to know like they can't afford to risk it. They can afford to
yeah.
go out and maybe buy Cyberpunk when it came out and it's all broken and then like, oh, I just spent my whole money on this
Yeah,
game and
I
now I
know,
can't play
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just helpful to find someone who you, like, trust their opinion when you're reading reviews. Like, find a specific, like, reviewer that you like, or, like, people like, even if you're following other streamers, like, going over to like, if you're interested in the game and you're like, "I don't know how I'll like this," like, even going to, like, preview that category on Twitch to check it out just to see, to
Yeah.
kinda get your own impressions from it, I think is also a good way to go about that.
Yeah. To supplement that, I would say, and I think you mentioned this too, it's like trust yourself too. If you can
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe afford it, like don't trust a review. Like even a review said the game is bad and you were interested in it, try it. Like it could be
Yeah.
good. You could
Yeah.
like it.
Mhm.
Nice. I love that. And what do you want now? The sweet chili dog or the meat chili dog?
Let's go meat.
Ooh, nice.
Save
So
dessert for last.
nice. So for the meat this week, every week here, I try to get news that are happening in the gaming industry at the time, like something that happened on the week.
Mhm.
And in the past, I avoided talking about the Blizzard stuff. I did avoid it because I was like, look, this is really deep. Like it would take a long time. Like, and I think the we would like just talk like we wouldn't be able to go deep enough. You know, it might end up just being like a shallow talk about it.
Yeah.
But for this week, I had a debate with myself, and I was like, no, like we need like the meat of this episode needs to be Twitch. Like it needs to be Twitch and what's happening on Twitch because
Yeah.
like this is so important to talk right now. It's what's happening right now. It's what the communities are feeling right now. Like these uh streamers, right, that don't have a lot of recognition, like that are suffering from this,
Yeah.
which for maybe someone in chat that doesn't know what we're talking about here was a movement that happened on this Wednesday, which
Mhm.
was a day off Twitch and Twitch do better, which is happening because there's a lot of hate raids that have been happening to smaller channels, mostly in the LGBT community too, when they use the LGBT plus tag. And there are hate raids. People just go in there and it's a hate raid. People just go in there and say awful things to the person. And these movements were happening to get Twitch to do better, to really bring in tools to fix this issue. And I just wanted us to talk a little bit about this. You were mentioning how to like, I think we kind of touched it on a lot of these
Yeah.
throughout the show. And I wanted to talk to you about a little bit about this because do you think Twitch's first response was just enable the follower only mode, and that's just like outrageous. So my
Yes. It
question
is
to you
ridiculous.
is, yeah, how do you perceive this whole situation? Like, if I didn't mention anything else, please. Uh, also, like, if I failed to say it in a way, but yeah, please.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, these switch rates have been going, or these hate rates have been going on for about a month now. There's other stuff involved, like there's some accounts that will follow you while you're streaming to capture your IP to DDoS you as well. That's another part that's happening
Whoa.
here. So there's like malicious extensions on Twitch pages that capture your IP, um, and then use it to DDoS you, which sucks. um,
Yeah.
so like there's just like huge security flaws in Twitch, and I know they sent out an email today saying that they're working on it, but we can't say anything because the people who are responsible for these bots and hate raids will find ways to
Yeah.
circumvent it, which they're going to do anyway. But yeah, it's just been like it's been awful for like marginalized creators, like people of color, LGBT community, like to just like some people's entire livelihoods are on Twitch, like they're full-time streamers, and it's not reasonable for Twitch to be like, oh, just turn on follower only mode or just like
Yeah.
disable raids, like because these people will be like online for like 3 hours and they will be getting hate rated the entire way through, like it's relentless. And like these people rely on, Twitch for income, like
Yeah.
um and it's not even that, like, it can even go into the fact that, like, they're taking such a huge cut of the creator's income. It's like, then what are you providing? Like, I know you're providing, like, the server space, which obviously, to process that much, like, millions of videos, whatever, is a lot, but, like, also, like, they're owned by Amazon, and, like, I feel like, their silence on the whole matter was just, like it was awful. Like, they didn't make a statement until today.
Yeah. If it's happening on their platform, they have to do something.
Yeah, it's happening on their platform, and like they like I don't know, it's just it's awful that they didn't, like, even their response today was kind of like a no response. I mean, it was better than the
I also
last
thought that, yeah.
thing that they put out, which was just a tweet that was like, "Hey, we see you. We're working on it." Um
Yeah.
but yeah, no,
Even
it's terrible.
should they be should they be more upfront? And I asked that already kind of knowing the answer, right? Because
Yeah.
they
I
should,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, they should. Like, it's their platform. Like, you don't have this happening. Like, you don't see this happening on like YouTube, like, because they would squash it right away, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, people feel like they can get away with it on Twitch because Twitch doesn't like they're not doing anything about it. It's bad.
Do you think Twitch like because we did get that email today, and do you think like because I'm afraid they don't care enough about this. Do you think are they really paying attention? What's the impression you have?
No, I mean, like, I think that the best way for people to draw attention to this, which was what happened like on Wednesday or whatever, like, is to draw the attention of like news outlets to that then so the news circulates that this is happening so that the advertisers start pulling advertising from Twitch. And that's really the only way to hit them is with money, right? Like
Yeah.
take away their money source. Um and like I know that a lot of people were like, "Oh, taking the day off of Twitch isn't going to do anything." But like Twitch's viewership dropped by like 4 to 5% that day, like accounting for all the other factors. Like people ran the numbers and it's like this actually made an effect on
Mm-hmm.
Twitch, and like
Yeah.
just more stuff like that needs to happen. And I don't know, like obviously Twitch doesn't care, right? Like they're gonna do well either way. But
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
the thing that scares me. Yeah.
yeah. And there's like not much competition. Like I mean, you have like all the smaller ones coming up, like Trovo and like I can't remember what any of the other ones are called.
Even
But there's
YouTube
like
as well.
yeah, and like YouTube is interesting. They don't have like any of the community building like resources that Twitch has. Like they have no emotes. They don't have You can't have subscribers and get monetized until you have like 100,000 followers or
I see.
something. It's
Mm-hmm.
something ridiculous. So it doesn't make a ton of sense to go over there. But I mean, like Twitch has no discoverability either. So it's like
Yeah.
um, which is why I think a lot of people are looking to outside services to either accept donations or like promote themselves. Like for example, like TikTok has been extremely useful for me as a tool to advertise myself. A lot of people find me on TikTok more than they find me on Twitch.
Whoa.
Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
I have like double the amount of followers on TikTok that I do on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
And that's when I
But
wanted
that's
to have
yeah.
the conversation next, which is like, how do we because that's what people have been saying too with the tweets and everything from Wednesday. It's like, how do we support the marginalized creators, like besides Twitch? And we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you see that your favorite creator has a like Ko-fi page, fan house, Patreon, or even like a PayPal or something, like give them money that way. um it's just it's so much more beneficial for them than to get half of the amount of a Twitch sub. I mean, like
Yeah.
obviously like if you're not going to Twitch sub, you should support them somewhere else. Like don't just like don't not sub and then not support them. Like but yeah, if you
Which,
can subscribe off Twitch, then do it.
and when you were saying like the thing where there's no competition, like it's cleared right now. Like we're streaming right now on Twitch. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
there's no way to run from it, and then you're just left just hoping that they're gonna do something, right? I
Yeah.
like it didn't happen to me. I don't think it happened to you as well. But like you just think about these channels that go through this, and you're just like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? Like this is. Can you imagine like what goes in that person's head? You know, like because that person has nowhere to go. Like what you're
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah, it's awful. And it's mostly like it's mostly they're mostly targeting like people of color and I think a lot of like trans people as well and it's like so it's so awful. It's so bad and
It's
I
scary.
like
Yeah.
it's like I can't even imagine. Like I know there's been a lot of people who are like just like, "Oh, well, you won't get hate raids if you just turn off raids and like turn it into like chat like emote only chat." But it's like that's not a reasonable solution.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's not. Like
Because that's how communities get to know each other, by
yeah, if
rating,
you
by
constantly have people flooding the chat and you constantly have to clear your chat so that nothing racist shows up, like all the regular messages get deleted too, and then like what do you like what how can you follow along with a conversation when that's constantly happening? It's bad.
yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I think to maybe end this conversation, have more, if you have more to say, yeah, feel free to do it. But like, yeah, just I really hope that Twitch ends up actually doing something about this and it doesn't take long. I really hope it doesn't
Yeah.
take as long as it seems it's gonna take, because so far, like, they, as you said, like they only tweeted and today they sent the statement. So it's like, really, can you be more slower than this? It's like,
Yeah. I do want to say also, like, they still haven't solved the copyright issues that they were having with like people playing
oh,
copywritten music. Like, they still
mm-hmm.
don't have that.
What happened? We don't have audio right now. Can you guys hear me? Prime? Was it? Can you guys hear me though? You hear me? Do you wanna? I can. Do you want to call again? Pretty weird. Just froze completely. And you guys can hear me. Okay. Let's do the call again. It could be Discord. Let me go over to BRB, everyone, and we're just gonna get the call back. 1 second. Nice, we're back. We're back, everyone. Nothing
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a first. That was weird. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that was interesting.
uh, you were saying that the copyright thing, they still
Yes.
haven't fixed it.
No, they haven't. And Twitch has terrible tools for like refuting copyright claims. Like compared to like YouTube who like I have videos that I had in-game music playing for that I know I had the rights to stream
Yeah.
that are sitting in Twitch's like from like 3 years ago that are sitting in my like Twitch backlog of these have not been approved to have the audio
What?
unmuted. Yeah. Like,
Oh
they don't bother,
no.
like, they have a
Yeah.
system to do it, but they don't actually follow up on the
Mm-hmm.
system. Whereas, like, YouTube is like, there's a claim, you submit it, they have 30 days to respond, otherwise your video gets unblocked or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's like that system where it's like there's obviously a lot of bullshit happening with like people like false copyright claims and stuff, but like at least there's a system to refute it, unlike on Twitch where there is not. But that's something that they
Man.
say they've been working on for like a year and a half now, and it's still not out. So it makes me a little bit nervous about when they say, yeah, we're working on the tools to combat hate, but how long is that going to take?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I had no idea about that. So that kind of makes me. I mean, of course, I'm hopeful, but it's just scary. It's really
Yeah, it
scary.
is. It is.
Yeah, really, really hope that Twitch. It's like I really hope that they do better. They need to,
Absolutely.
and yeah, really hope that. I think this is just a start, right? I think it's that safe to say that's just the start of the movement and stuff. And if it keeps
Mhm.
happening, I really hope that it takes bigger proportions, as you said, like where we actually make it hurt on them in a way, just
Yeah,
like to because it's got to happen. Like they got to speed up that
has to.
process.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And now for dessert, of course, that was a very
Yay.
serious topic, everyone. But I'm really glad we talked about it. Because I
Mhm.
also think about the guest. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't bring like something so serious. But I really felt
No,
like
I'm
for
okay.
this
Yeah.
week, right? Like for the week, we had to talk about it because
Yeah.
it's what's going on. Like we need to.
Yeah, I had talked about it on my own channel as well. I wasn't sure how much I wanted to, but I've been like talking about it all week, so I don't. I'm very well versed in it now, so
Nice.
I can talk freely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really good.
yeah.
So now the sweet chili dog, which might
Uh,
be gross. Yeah.
it might be a little bit gross.
So Sony announced this week that they will have a showcase for the future of PS5 titles next Thursday.
Oh,
The
okay.
show, yeah, the show will be around 40 minutes long, and it promises a lot given the amount of like good Sony IPs that they had in the past.
Mhm.
God of War, wink wink,
Yeah.
perfect game. Are you excited for any Sony IPs coming up?
The thing is about like I don't know. I can't really think of any that are coming out that I'm excited for. I've never played God of War. I've seen Great News play a little bit of it, but I
Oh
haven't played
yeah.
it myself. I think that a lot of the games that I play on like PlayStation or tend to be like indie games. Like Journey was one of them that I really
Whoa,
enjoyed.
yeah.
There's that game coming out that like you play as a cat. I can't remember what it's called. Stray.
Stray.
Yeah, I'm super
Mm-hmm.
excited for that. But I think I tend to skew more towards like indie games. But like
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I
I
don't
have a
know.
question like what do you expect to see on this showcase? So it's more indie stuff?
I would hope so. I like seeing indie stuff. I'm trying to think of like any major like IPs. Like I like the Souls games, and I mean I mainly one of the main reasons I got my PS5 was because I wanted to play Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So we could see.
but
I mean, we don't think we'll see it, but like something from Blue Point, which is the studio that made the Demon Souls remake, like
yeah,
that could
I
be
mean, even if
exciting.
there's something about like I don't know if they're going to show anything about like Elden Ring, especially because it's not probably not a PlayStation exclusive,
Ooh,
right?
yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other are there any IPs that you're looking forward to other than God of War that are
They already showed. I guess they could show Horizon again, but
yeah, see
in the
that's another game I didn't
future,
play.
yeah, in the future, I guess Spider-Man 2. I'm really looking forward to
Oh,
whatever they
okay.
do with that series, right?
Yeah, yeah. I really enjoyed the Spider-Man. I ended up I got the Spider-Man PS4 when it came out. Like the
Yeah.
one that has like
Oh,
the red one with like the
yeah.
Spider-Man logo on it. Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
huge
that's
fan of
pretty
Spider-Man.
cool.
I haven't played the Miles Morales game yet. I've been wanting to, but I really enjoyed like what was it called? The Amazing Spider-Man? Was
The
it
Amazing
called that?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wait.
The first
No,
game that came out for.
I think it was just
Was it just
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man?
no? I think
Okay.
it's just Marvel Spider-Man. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really liked that game. That one was really good, and
Yeah,
the
I agree.
story was great, and yeah, I'm pretty excited to hopefully get
Yeah,
another game in that series. Yeah.
to be honest, I don't think we're going to see it like now, you know what I mean? Because the studio is the same studio that released like Miles Morales and Ratchet
Yeah.
and Clank. So I think
Oh,
there's
okay,
still
okay. Yeah,
which is
that's
like I think the game is in development, but it's still gonna take a few more years from them to like to show it and to be ready.
yeah.
Uh, but Horizon, I guess you're not excited for it.
No. I really like the style of like that world is really cool, like the technology mixed with like the nature stuff.
Hmm.
I think that's awesome, but I've seen a bit of that game and I don't think it's for me. I think it's a very long game too, right? Like there's a lot to do.
It is. It is. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Did you
Um
did you play Last of Us 2?
I that's
Or are you
another
not
game I
really a big fan?
watched.
Oh.
I watched Great News play both Last of Us 1 and 2. That game is too scary for me. I would never play
Oh,
that
I
on my
see.
own.
I don't
um
like spooky games, but I play that
yeah,
actually.
it's just it's like just on the border of like almost too spooky. Like there were some jump scares in that, but it's also like a really good story. Like I really enjoyed the
It
story
is,
in
yeah.
that, and I think that's the type of game that I prefer to watch someone play than play
Yeah.
myself.
I
Especially because
was
there's so it's like
asking,
heavy shooting
yeah.
and yeah.
And I was asking it because they have promised Last of Us 2 multiplayer. And I think we
Mm.
might see that next week because it's been a long time since the game. Like, I guess it's not a long time since the game came out, but like, it's they've been working on it. So I think maybe we'll see something.
Yeah, that would actually be
Uh,
interesting. I wonder if I would actually I'd probably enjoy playing multiplayer for that
the
too.
multiplayer for one was fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun because it's still you don't have a lot of bullets and there's like the sneaking. Like it's kind of you're trying to like sneak from the other opponents and try to catch
Yeah.
them off guard. It's a
Yeah.
pretty cool like multiplayer.
Yeah.
But since it's a sweet chili dog, there's a spin to it. There's a twist,
Okay.
and the problem because like, okay, like we're gonna have this show. It's gonna be fun. PlayStation 5 titles, woohoo, super hyped. But
Mhm.
there is a problem, and the problem is that this console called the PlayStation 5 is still really difficult to get,
Yes.
and that's
Yeah.
after almost a whole year in the market.
I
And
know.
Sony has been looking at like the way I see it, Sony has been looking away from it when it comes to the shortage. They don't talk about it. They constantly mention the PlayStation 5 just like breaking records. Look at this console selling a lot. Look at those games selling a lot. But they just overlook the fact that almost no one can buy this thing.
Yeah.
So how do you like? Do you have any just like opinion on like how Sony should address the issue? Should they just talk about it?
I mean, I feel like they should. It's I understand. Like I am assuming that a lot of it there's a lot of stuff going on with like I don't know, people can't get like graphic cards and stuff. I'm pretty sure like the
Yeah.
manufacturing's all screwed right now because of the pandemic. Like so it's not surprising that they're having shortages, but I also wonder how much of that is like artificial shortage as well to kind of boost like
Booster.
exclusivity and
Yeah,
like how exclusive it is when people get one and
I agree.
I don't know. Yeah.
The more rare the thing is, the more people want it. It's like, oh, I need this thing. Yeah, it could be a
Yeah.
little bit of artificial as well. And you
Yeah.
said like they should address it, but do they have to? This is the other question.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not. I mean, everyone knows at this point
Yeah.
that it's very hard to get a PS5, like
And I feel like they're just like sitting on the top of money. That's why I even asked this question. Is like, do they really have to? They're like, oh, we're doing
Yeah.
fine. We sold like according to them, the PlayStation 5 was the most best-selling console ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you think that? Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that before hyping up these games, should they at least try to get the console into the people's
Into
hand
people's
instead
hands,
of
yeah, before
yeah?
hyping. Well, I'm assuming that the games that they're showing are not coming out for like at least 6 months maybe, unless they do like surprise drop like, "Hey, this is coming out tomorrow."
They're calling future of PlayStation, so I think you're in the right track there, which like
Yeah.
longer
So
titles.
like
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they like maybe have some sort of plan to get more PS5s out, but yeah, I don't know.
I really hope
It's
it
kind of
because
a
I don't
mess,
have
yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
there
it's
was one
just
point at which I was like, "Am I gonna get a vaccine or a PS5 first?" Because like they were both so like rare at the time. Like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's crazy, right? It's like
yeah.
which one am I gonna get first?
It was close
But
there.
the yeah, it was close. The thing is like the I don't know. I really hope that they do because, like, I don't know. I still think that there's a lot of people like me that like really like the games and stuff, but still can't get their hands on one. You know,
Mhm.
so I think that they need to address it in a way. Like, it's difficult to tell. I think I don't know. Not being pessimistic, but do you think that they'll just like avoid mentioning it and just like let it ride? Like, just just like yeah, we're just gonna sell the way it is right now. It's like small drops here and there, and then at some point like 1 year from now, like literally 1 year from now, like when the console is 2 years old, it's gonna be fine. People are gonna buy it. Like, do you think they can just go that route?
I think they can, honestly. Like, there's like at this point, like it's such a like it's been a year and it's still a problem. Like, I think people just expect it at this point. I don't think they have to do anything differently. Like, is anyone like really mad at them for it? I don't think so. It's just kind of like
Yeah,
frustrating.
I
Yeah.
guess you're right. I'm not really mad at them. I'm like, yeah, I'm still gonna
I
play
mean,
all those
play
games,
games,
but it's just
but
frustrating.
yeah. Yeah.
The I guess they could be using. I don't know if they would do that, but like you could use the pandemic as kind of an excuse to just like, oh, it's. But then it's like, nah. It's like, come on.
I mean, pandemic. I'm sure like the manufacturing issues will change. Like I don't know, but yeah, like there's like I know that it just in general, like any sort of electronics right now are kind of difficult to get. Like with the
Yeah,
markup on video cards and people trying to get video cards and yeah, yeah,
for sure. Do you think? Because I have this fantasy where in my head, as soon as the consoles hit the actual stores, like as soon as you're able to actually walk into a Walmart and buy one, the shortage will kind of end a little bit because like scalpers won't
yeah.
be able to like start buying. Do you think that's the case?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it started. I know like that was happening a little bit here, but then I don't. I remember hearing that it was a bit easier to find a PS5 in the last few months, but I think it's gotten more difficult again. I don't know if they maybe had like
Mm-hmm.
an excess run of them or something at one point, but yeah, I don't know.
Did you have problems buying like the Switch before? Because that was like the last release we had.
No, okay, so I went to like I got a Switch the day of. Like I had to wait in a
Whoa,
line
yeah.
until midnight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
Oh,
was
but
actually a
you
lot of fun.
nice. Yeah, it sounds cool. Yeah, it sounds really nice.
Yeah,
For
I
me,
remember I was like in a mall at like it was like it was released in like November or whatever, so it was cold.
yeah.
I went to a taekwondo class. I
Wait,
drove downtown.
it was March. I think it was
Was it
March.
March? Okay, I remember it
Yeah,
being
yeah.
cold because I went to class and then Great Noons already went to the place where we were going to pick it up and he was waiting in line already, so I joined him there. And then I just like brought my comics and I just sat in the line and read and then we got it no problem. We didn't have really an
Nice.
issue with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it was rare at the time. Like I didn't get one at release, but like I
Yeah.
think there was like a
I think there
scarcity
might
to
have
it.
there might have been a scarcity at the beginning, but it wasn't like a year's worth of
Exactly, because
Yeah.
in my hope when I talk about like a PS5 being in Walmart, like that kind of thing, because my hope is that with the Switch, like sure it was difficult to get, but then I was just going on those websites of like restock. And
Yeah.
I just remember to this day, like because I was gonna buy it in the US, right? So I just remember looking at a Walmart right next to my parents' house, and I was like, "Hey, mom, they have this Switch right now. There, please just like rush there right now."
Yeah.
And then she was able to get it. It was like a 20-minute drive or something. She's the best, and then she got it. But like, that's why I have this hope that like maybe if the PS5 were in stores, I would be able to eventually get one. But that's
Yeah.
not what I
Yeah.
feel right now.
Yeah. Yeah, not right now. But
The
yeah,
yeah, the
there
Sony,
was
yeah,
sorry.
just
Um
crazy. No, no, go ahead.
yeah. There was like I just read chat and there was a scarcity of Switch I think at the beginning of the pandemic because everyone wanted to play Animal Crossing. So
Oh,
I
I
know there
see.
were
Yeah.
shortages around that point because I remember a friend of mine was trying to get one and she had a hard time and there was like
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, so I think yeah. So basically, yeah, if the Switch was impacted by the pandemic, okay,
Yeah.
okay, PS5, I see you. You're still affected by the pandemic. That's
Maybe a
okay.
little bit, maybe a little bit,
Yeah,
but
I'll
I don't
wait
know
a
how much
little bit
longer.
more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping to get one by the end of the year, but because I'm saving, like I couldn't watch your Returnal streams because I'm like I'm gonna play that game, so I don't want to spoil it to
Oh my
myself.
God, that game is so hard.
Oh,
Yeah,
I really want to
yeah.
play it.
It's
And
good.
you said Miles Morales too. I'm saving it. I don't want to play it on the PS4. Even if I don't get Horizon, like if I don't have a PS5 by the time Horizon is released, which is like February,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play it on the PS4. I just refuse it. Like that
Yeah,
game,
yeah. Yeah.
like
You want to
it's
see it
gonna
in
be
like high
built
quality. Yeah.
exactly. Not even. I think it's not even that. It's just like the loading times and stuff. Because I don't
Oh,
think I would buy
yeah.
a new TV as well. So like it's okay. I'll use my PS5 on my full HD TV, but that's fine. I just want the load times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this segment. Oh, I promised lore. So crime, everyone, buckle up right now for the lore.
Okay.
It's really, it's
Getting
just,
ready.
it's nothing because for like I won't even explain it then. But like Crime was talking to the chili dog vendor, and then after having the meal, like just Crime decided to go on her way, just like really good chili dogs. Sonic will be proud. But then out of nowhere, a bullet hits the chili dog vendor and he hits the floor. Yep. And that's it. That's it. Like, what's going on? What's going on? It's like really crazy, right? When someone hears that, it's like, wait, what? Well, that's it. Basically, what I can tell is like
Rip.
every person that had been doing this business model, like the sweet meat and spice, they have been dying by the end of it. That's what I can say. But like, who is behind it? We don't know.
Oh,
It might be the
big
rebellion.
conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah, big conspiracy. But yeah, that was it for the segment. Again, thank you so much, Crime. I think I saw some questions. Should we maybe answer a few more questions? I saw people.
Yeah, sure. I saw a note by Ignorant Spoon before. He was upset
Yeah.
that I didn't mention him by name for being the person's whose stream I watched, that I was like, I can do better than him. And I saw him post a message in chat, and he's like, some friends, because he was trying to get me to say that it was his
Yeah.
fault. So yeah, I just want to mention that.
Shout out to Spoon. Spoon's
I
great.
didn't want to like put him down though, because it's like that. I mean, it was his stream that made me think I can do better.
But you said it. Everyone, don't think that. It was okay. The way you said it, it wasn't bad. It's okay. Shout out to Spoon. Spoon's great. I guess we have one question here, which is, if I could ask you your most crushing loss on speedrunning. Do you have one of those? Did you have one of those?
I mean, I frequently get crushed in Sonic. There's a lot of opportunities to get crushed in that game. I had, I don't know if there's like something that most crushing loss. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I did do that thing where I ran into a glitch in one of the final 3 levels that killed me and basically threw me back 1 minute in time. So there was no way I could get that PB. So that sucks when that happens. Or like, oh yeah, oh my god, yes. Thank you, Indy, for reminding me about that. I jumped off the last level and died. Yeah, I didn't know it was possible because I thought there was an invisible wall there. Apparently, you can jump over the invisible wall and die during the final level.
No way! I went to go
jump to hit Robotnik to knock him down, like to hit his vehicle, and I just jumped right over and into death.
I guess it's probably part of speedrunning, like the loss, because I also remember a time I watched. I don't know if it was a clip or I watched it live, but you were doing the final fight. And then that's the one Robotnik is doing this, right?
Yeah, the
showing
pistons
up like this.
Out, yeah,
the pistons. And then every time you were on the side that Robotnik wasn't on, I was like, no, this hurts.
I mean, ideally it doesn't get to that point because I should be at a point where I know the pattern that I have to input. But sometimes, like, for some reason, like, the way that level works is super weird because you basically, like, there's a few ways to do it, but it relies on your inputs to do the RNG for the pistons in the order that they come out.
Oh,
so like if you go into the level, so recently what I've been doing is just running, as soon as the level loads, I just hit right and run all the way to the end of the level. And doing that ensures that it will be the same pattern every time.
Whoa, interesting, yeah.
And that puts me at a 1 minute 14 seconds for that level every time.
Got it.
However, if you want to save a second, there is a button input you can do. You basically do a bunch of pausing on your way up to the boss, and then it does a different pattern that you can finish in 1 second faster.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
And then you have to train that to be able to try and achieve that 1 second faster.
Yeah, and I actually, like, I used to be able to do it really easily, and then I found out there was a much easier way to do it, and then you just lose 1 second. And I'm not at the point right now in speedrunning where that second matters. So there's no point in me trying to do the more difficult strategy at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And yeah, from what I've been watching too, you're getting a lot of time, like you're losing like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, like in the mid levels. Like you're, as you said, like you're really close to a PB. Like there's...
Yeah. But so, yeah, sometimes, and it's been ridiculous too, because I've been like down 40 seconds and I make it up by the end. And it's like,
I see.
how?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I think my last PB I died like 3 times, made up a minute, and still got a
Whoa, yeah.
PB. Yeah.
Nice.
Um, yeah.
Which is fun, right? Because I think every time that you get a PB, you mentioned that you like didn't even realize it was a PB. Like at the
Yeah.
end, you're like, wait a second, it's a PB.
Yeah,
Like,
at some point I just like I get really nervous once I notice that I'm doing well and I start to screw up. So what I've been trying to do is
oh, I
once I
see.
get past like maybe past like Spring Yard into Labyrinth, I stop looking at the splits because it just stresses me out.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing well. Time to screw up." type thing,
Yeah,
you
you don't
know.
want that
Yeah.
added pressure. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. I guess for a last question here, since we kind of hit the time, I suppose this person's from your community. I feel like it's
Yes,
kind of a
yes,
meme
yes.
question.
Yeah.
Why does crime love ghost games more than any other horror?
Yeah, so everyone who's part of my
Thank you
community
so much
knows
for that question.
I cannot stand ghosts. I hate ghost games. I will not play any game with a ghost in it. It's just creepy for me. I hate ghost games. Um, but I've been trying to like honestly, I've played more horror games during streaming like
Yeah,
than I ever have in my whole life, just because I guess it's a little bit less scary when you have a bunch of people watching you.
for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, I still obviously like I'm very easily jump scared, but like, it's really nice knowing that I'm not playing it alone. I guess. Like there's obviously still games that I won't touch, like any ghost games, but yeah, we are approaching Spooky Month, and I am planning on playing at least I want to play Resident Evil 8.
Ooh,
Um,
nice.
so yeah, that'll be my spooky game for the month.
That's gonna be
Probably
fun.
also like Little Nightmares 2. I wanted to play that.
Whoa, nice. So you actually like you don't like horror games, but you also give it a chance a little bit. You're like,
Listen,
okay,
I,
I'll.
I I will give it a chance because my community really loves watching me play horror games for some reason.
Oh no, don't give them the idea because I already said here on the channel that I'll never play any horror games, and you're giving them ideas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's yeah. I kind of like I ease myself into it. Like I originally the first scary game I played on stream, I played co-op with spoons. It was Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 5 isn't
Oh.
even that scary, like honestly. But like for me, I was like screaming at like everything. And then I think we played like Dead Space 3 next, and that also like I started screaming and like crying during that game. So like I don't know, it's I've been getting more used to playing horror games, but still every once in a while it'll get me, and I don't like to like yeah, it's I don't like to play a lot of them either. Like
I
last
see.
year for October, I basically did an entire month of spooky games, and I was like having nightmares, and I'm like I can't do that to
Oh
myself
no
this year.
no no.
Like
Yeah,
there's no reason like I will entertain to a point, but when it's starting to like affect me
for
personally, I'm
sure.
like get out of here. I'm not doing that. So,
Yeah,
we're having maybe like 2 weeks of spooky games this time instead
I
of
think
an
you're good
entire
with.
month.
To be honest, I played Resident Evil 8. I played it.
Yeah.
People were like, "Wait, you don't like horror games and you played it?" But like, I watched a full playthrough before playing it, so I knew exactly
Yeah.
what was gonna
Okay.
happen.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
still, like, I still don't think you're. I don't think you're gonna have nightmares. Just saying, like from experience, I think you're gonna be fine with
Yeah,
it. Like,
probably.
it should be probably. It's like, okay, I'm still gonna get
Probably.
spooky, but
Yeah. I had hesitated with Resident Evil 8. I wasn't sure if I was gonna play it because I hated Resident Evil 7. I thought that game was
oh, I see.
bad, and I think the main reason there was a lot of like torture in that game that made me like
I
super
see.
uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Like they also like they would linger on scenes of torture, like almost like fetishizing it, and
Yeah.
that's super not my style.
Hmm. I see. Now
So
I
I
can
was
tell
yeah.
if 8 has that or not. I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's gonna be quite as bad. I've heard it's not, so I'm hoping I'll be okay. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
I like that idea of having like a time of the year where you play the spooky games. Then you're like, you actually take the weight off. You're like, look, we're not gonna play spooky games the whole
Yeah.
time, but then at this period, we're gonna have like a little bit of spooky for you guys. I'll
Yeah, yeah.
suffer, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty fun. So yeah, everyone. Yeah, Louise saying that 8 definitely has that.
It does? Okay. Ugh.
You can think of something fun where maybe someone in chat knows where it's coming, and then like they make a
Yeah,
command, and then you close
warning.
your eyes or something, like a warning or something. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, hold on though. If it goes all the way back around to silly, that's fine. Like there's a point. Like
Oh yeah.
I enjoy watching like really gory bad movies, for example. Like I have
Hmm.
no problem with that. Um
No,
But
8
yeah,
is
as
more
long as
silly for sure.
it loops
It
back
is.
around to being funny again, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't think 8 is supposed to be like super dark. Look at this torch. It's like no,
Yeah.
it's a little more like you see the things and you're like, oh, okay, like how is someone doing this? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, it's
yeah,
like that kind of vibe.
yeah.
But yeah, I think we had like an amazing show this week. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Crime, for being here. Yeah, like it was awesome. It was so
Yeah.
good, like having a peek on your gaming, like the things you like to play and how the stream is going, and on your life too. I think that's super cool because
Yeah.
like I think the live questions are great, right? Because like streamers are also people. Surprise.
Yeah.
But like like which yeah, we touched on a lot of good things, just like even mental health we talked a little bit too in regards to
Mhm.
the pandemic, and I think it was awesome. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
And
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. Thanks for
oh,
having me
thank
here on your
you.
birthday as well. Like
You're the birthday queen of Twitch. Come on. I saw at the start I saw people in chat wishing you a happy birthday as
yeah,
well.
yeah, it happened in my
It
chat
was
too. As
great.
soon as I mentioned it was your birthday, everyone was like, "Happy birthday, Crime." I'm like, my birthday.
So yeah, please remind everyone now also, like we did it at the start, do it again, just like where people can find you and all kind of that.
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Twitch as MetroidCrime, one word. It's right down here. And
Yeah.
also my Twitter is over there too. My Instagram is under the same name as my Twitter. I'm on TikTok as well under MetroidCrime, no underscore. I post content there. I post like daily clips and stuff. I also do like a weekly summary video of everything you missed for that week.
Ooh, those
I
are great.
post that, yeah, on like Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday or Sunday, depending. And yeah, you can catch me like I'm all over social media, everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you again so much. Like this was so much, like the show keeps getting better, like this
yeah,
was
I love it.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for being here. Everyone, that's it for the show this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad everyone that was here for it. It was super fun. I had fun. I hope you had fun as well.
I definitely had fun. It was great.
Nice. And I think, as I promised, since we have a lot of people right now, we're gonna sing happy birthday after the show. I have like a cake, and then we're gonna do
Oh my
that.
god, amazing,
So yeah, Crime,
amazing.
thank you so much for being here again.
Mhm.
And yeah, see you guys in a bit, everyone. Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.